Yo, hello everybody. Glasses on, are we right? I got you, Francisco. Hang on, brother. What up, guys and gals? Hope everyone's doing absolutely fantastic. Pardon the wet hair. I went on a walk. It started to rain and had to take a shower afterwards. Just, not my favorite walk in the world, but it's fine. We got a little movement in before the stream. Shout out to our early birds here. Okay, Genetics, Bad Dads was in the building early. So was Ryan. So was Tombstone. So was Mithu, as always. Spamming the meat emoji too. Darth Raven looking for some Starfield players. I'm sure they're out there. We got a nice big Bethesda community. Zerofication was here. We have Guitar and Gaming here. Francisco, of course, is here. What's going on, guys? Got the mods outside. We got Uncharted Wolf. We got Meatball in the building. Let's go. Wolf Bear is here. Broderick is here, of course. Love to see y'all here. Thanks for being here. Who in the Hogwarts? Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate the support on the glasses. It'll definitely make with certain points. Like, I don't need to wear them all the time, to be honest with you guys. I don't wear them all the time. I'm very resistant to the spectacles, though they may make me a bit of a stud. Apparently, that was news to me. But anyway, I only throw them on selectively because my eyesight's fine. It's just when they strain, this just helps a lot. Anyway, appreciate you guys being here. What are we going to talk about today? We got nothing on the docket today, but this is going to be a really fun one. Of course, we're going to talk a lot of Fallout and Bethesda. Also lined up on my stories here, we're going to talk about how Xbox leadership reportedly detests Game Pass. So we will get into that. We're going to talk about physical games. Some data has come out, and a lot of folks are saying it's over. I do not agree. And I think a lot of people are missing the point of the argument. So we'll dive really deep into that one. You know me, I got a lot to say on that. I'm sure that'll end up being a retro rebound video at some point too, just to kind of like drive the final statement home, because it's been 3 weeks now. And then we're going to talk KOTOR Remake. What a week it's been. What a week it's been. This last week has been just Feed Matty week. How about that? Let's talk Splatoon Raiders. We're not going to do that on Uncharted Wolf. We're not Splatoon. Who plays Splatoon? Come on now. Glasses were a good touch for that video. Just thank you. Yeah, again, like I just threw them on for the character aspect. I was like, oh, these kind of make me look a little bit more intelligent, you know? Oh, we got our first super chat. It's a challenge. This comes from 1-1. I disagree with your Power World video. Pokemon is better. Okay. I mean, honestly, I respect that, dude. Damn, my hair. Holy shit, dude. Ugh. It's like so fucked up. Dude, I appreciate the disagreement. Definitely get where you're coming from, because Pokemon has some things that are a bit different from Power World. Certainly, like the focus on creature catching. Like, if you ask me, do I like Legends Arceus more as a video game, or do I like something such as Power World more? Like, I do prefer Legends Arceus. Like, when the vibes for Pokemon are right, they're really good. I love Pokopia more than Power World. Like, no doubt about it. But definitely the message has been sent to Nintendo, or by Nintendo to us, with the way they have acted legally, that they are afraid of this game and some of the mechanics that they've borrowed being put into a game that's not on the Switch. But otherwise, dude, welcome disagreement. I'd love to hear more supporting reasoning. But definitely appreciate you showing up and starting off strong. Certainly don't blame you on that. Although I will just say, I mean, they're just completely different video games in my opinion. Yeah, it's not about just the game type. It's more about how Pokemon went after Pal World for shared mechanics, such as catching a creature in the ball or throwing a ball out and the creature coming out of it. And while they are different in a lot of ways, the inspirations are obvious. The creatures, the Pokeball stuff, the anime character aesthetic. Like, there are overlaps, and these two have found themselves butting heads, whether they're identical or not. And it's more about how the Pokemon Company and Nintendo tried to beat them over the head with a legal hammer. So not just only Power World would step to the side, but any other indie devs who wanted to do something similar to Pokemon, dare they do something like that, would get taken down by Nintendo or be scared to even start in the first place. And that's awful. So going after them legally, it brought the magnifying glass. Like, okay, what's so similar about these two where you're protecting mechanics these games have? And I just think the idea of protecting mechanics in games legally is an awful precedent. Everyone's talking about, at least in the hardcore gaming community, the Nemesis system, and I'm sure there's some average Joe who's like, man, what happened to that system that we saw in Shadow Mordor? And they don't realize it's been trademarked and just no one can touch it. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, Power World had to change flying with your creature. Yeah, just stupid shit like that. Just, yeah, Pokemon brought it on themselves. Honestly, they lumped, outside of the creatures, they lumped a lot of the comparisons on themselves. And they also took ideas, I think, from Power World that were kind of in line with Legend series and you know, with the way you were involved as a trainer with the battles of the monsters. They brought these comparisons to themselves because they happily took those ideas too. At least that's how it appeared. You know, because these games are in development for so many years. I'm sure that Nintendo had them in the tuck. Because when did Legends Arceus? That was 2022. Yeah, so that didn't have you involved, but your trainer was involved in Legends EA. Anyway, appreciate the challenge. Happy to get your stream, Maddie. Just about to test out this new limit form I got in KH2. How deep have you gotten into the KH series? Very deep. I've played every single game in the series. I haven't played Recoded. But I played every game in the series otherwise. I have a love-hate relationship with Kingdom Hearts. I love, obviously, the era of Kingdom Hearts where we were getting a lot of Kingdom Hearts. This new era of, like, here's Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's gone for a while. Here's Remind, and it's gone for an even longer stretch of time. And here's 4. And I don't think 4 looks particularly good at this moment in time. I'm hoping this new Disney panel changes my mind. You know, but right now, like, the whole Quadratum thing and where the story's gone, I'm sorry, dude, it's just dog shit. But KH2 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's a top 10er for me. KH2 is one of the most fun video games made, I think. And I love the story. I love the boss fights. I love everything about KH2. So yeah, this is a phenomenal series. It's just, I think its best days are behind it at this moment in time. I hope KH4 kind of brings it back. What's up, Maddie? I like the name Dynasty Warriors. Shout out to Dynasty Warriors. Just curious, do you have any interest in the Remedy games before playing the Remedy games before Control Resonant releases, like Control or Alan Wake 1 and 2? Yes, asterisk. Like, I'm not going to get to them before Control Resonant. That's a game I'm accepting I will not get to in the time period I would like to, unfortunately. But a lot of people have yelled at me in the comments when I made my most anticipated game list. I had like 20 games I was looking forward to, indie games, AAA games, and everyone was just like, where the fuck is Control Resonant, bro? So Remedy fans, you had definitely been heard, and I will do my best to finally catch up on the Remedy-verse. This felt like a good time to do it, but I'm catching up on GTA right now, and then after that, Castlevania, like this, I'm trying to make the most strategic choices. I was talking to Josh about this, who edits Retro Rebound. I'm trying to like get ahead on my backlog. So unfortunately, Control's just falling by the wayside. The Remedy versus falling by the wayside. And so I have a lot of good stuff to experience down the stretch. I'm looking forward to that. But I apologize. I know that's a thing a lot of y'all want me to experience, and I know it's very up my alley. Alan Wake 1 I have played. Quantum Break I have played. Those are great video games. But anything beyond that, I have missed. In my opinion, Todd getting vocal all of a sudden is also a way of making sure the communication of Obsidian's Fallout flows through him rather than Sawyer or Fergus. I like this read. I do think there is something to this. You know, it sounds nefarious, but I do think there is something to letting Bethesda be the voice of it all, that they control it. I do think there is a good, yeah, I like this, Jaco. It's a good theory. It fits Todd's kind of like protective approach, for sure. Hey, Mr. Matty steals your girl, friend of the show. Do you think those boy-loving dogs of the Legion will be in the next game? Also, which faction that's never been in a game would you like to see? This is a really good question. So, for the Legion, because there's a potential that this Fallout video game started off as a non-Fallout game, I do think there's a world where you kind of have what you saw maybe in New Vegas, where we injected new factions like the Legion, but the NCR was already established. Brotherhood of Steel was already established. But Brotherhood of Steel had a smaller presence, right? And it fit the lore, it fit the narrative really well. So my theory is that for returning factions, if this started off as something different, set somewhere else other than the West Coast, You could argue that bringing the Legion back would be interesting. Like, what are these factions up to? But I would love to see them focus on new factions. I think Fallout desperately needs new factions. We've been running back Brother to Steel, NCR, and Legion for a long while. Legion the least of the three, but we've been especially with Brotherhood of Steel and NCR. Like, I think they should be in the picture. They always should be. They're core pillars. But I would really love to see new factions. That's one of the things I did love about Fallout 4 is like, hey, the Institute may not have been executed perfectly, but they're a really interesting idea, and they really fit Fallout in a specific way that I liked. And yeah, it's basically Blade Runner, but Blade Runner fitting Fallout so well is like a cool combination to me. So new ideas like that. Now, as for which faction that's never been in a game would you like to see? I can't think of a faction that we heard of that we haven't seen yet. I think of like the Brotherhood of Steel Outcast like as a fun one. I know I just said less Brotherhood of Steel, but like the cool thing about the Brotherhood of Steel Outcast is like their armor. Let's see here. I'm gonna Google this. What factions in Fallout have been mentioned but never seen on screen? Let's see what Google gives us. Because I'm definitely forgetting some here. Oh, the She. Major player in Fallout 2. That's an interesting one. Vipers and Jackals. Okay. Something involving China would be cool. I kind of like how they handled that in 76. And even the TV show touches on it with one of the first episodes. I would definitely like something involving China. Or something involving Canada. I think pulling from either of those two locations and creating a faction around that would be interesting. Houston has the most vaults according to the vault map, which could be interesting because vaults, as we know them, don't work in Houston. Yeah, a Texas set Fallout seems like a obvious, like that would be. Toronto was mentioned as Ronto in the Pit DLC. True. There you go. If Fallout 5 is San Francisco, then she will definitely involved. Yeah. See, I think something with China would be interesting. Fallout Texas. That's something I didn't throw into my theory video. Mistake. I could see this being just as likely. This is just as, to me, tangible and like, ooh, juicy and kind of fits the Western vibe as a Fallout New Orleans. Fallout Texas would be sick, though. Glad Fallout fans like Maddie are fed. Arcane fans like me, your name gives it away, Arcane Realm, are starving and dealing with crippling anxiety about our studio. Dude, I'm a diehard Arcane fan. I mean, maybe I didn't make that clear. You've been around for a while, though, Arcane Realm, so you know. But, like, Arcane's one of my favorite teams. I just think the games Arcane makes nowadays haven't been, across both Austin and Leon, by the way, haven't been as great. Like, the last Arcane game I truly loved was Prey. That was 2017. Or was that 20? Yeah, it was 2018. Jeez, we're getting to that point. 2017. So, yeah, I didn't like Deathloop much. Obviously, Redfall sucked. So, you know, and we know Austin's gone. But Leon working on a Blade game. I mean, I hope Blade fans, I feel bad for Blade fans. And I mean, we need more immersive sim-like studios. We saw Rafael Colantonio and Dinga Bakaba meeting up. So maybe there's something actually happening with that whole, you know, Rafael wanting to maybe help out Arcane. We'll see what materializes there. If I don't get a new Infamous game in the near future, I hope all the new Fallout games suck. Wow. Just hating on other people's joy because you can't get a new Infamous? You got 4 Infamous games, man. Come on now. No. Infamous 1, 2. Sorry. I was thinking of, was it First Light? That kind of counts. Nah. Anyway, I'd like more Infamous. I agree. Infamous was super, super awesome. One of the things I didn't like that Ghost of Tsushima didn't do is it felt like the whole idea behind Infamous and like hero and villain and that sort of choice structure fits really well with what Ghost of Tsushima was trying to do with the whole like being the ghost at the same time as it's honorable to fight up close and personal. And I feel like that whole action morality structure worked better with Ghost, arguably, or as well with Ghost as it would with something like Infamous, and I wish they did more with that. Such a great idea. Hashtag hate watch. I'm sorry, Volcom. Go get your platinum on Infamous 2 if you have yet to, because they're shutting down the UGCs next month. What's worth playing after KH2? I went from 1 to 2. Oh, boy. I mean, I always say go in release order because that's how Square Enix was just figuring it out, you know? So I think, oh, my God, what was it? What was it? Chain of Memories was after this? What game released after Kingdom Hearts 2? It was 358 over 2 days. If you got a DS, play that. Holy shit, that's a great game. 358 over 2 days is awesome. Definitely play that one. If you can. I know that they have the cutscenes remastered, but play it, bro. Play it if you can. Silver Lightning, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Thinking of hopping in the Outer Worlds to get a bit of Fallout fix. What are some things that may be better or worse in the Outer Worlds compared to Fallout writing? Writing, at least for parts of the second game. I shouldn't say writing so freely. Companions. The companions are just way less compelling in Outer Worlds 2. Outer Worlds 1, I fucking love Outer Worlds 1, man. It's a little bit more limited in hub space size. Outer Worlds 2 lets you stretch your legs more, wander a bit more. Feels really good. Gunplay, I mean... Okay, I'm gonna just go the range of Outer Worlds 1 and 2. The gunplay in Outer Worlds 2 is really good. The loot in Outer Worlds 2 is also really good. The choice and reactivity in Outer Worlds 2 is way better in the first game. Just the amount of skill checks you can do and outcomes is kind of staggering. I don't think it gets enough appreciation. Outer Worlds 2 is a little bit more limited, but it has better companions as a result, I think. What else should you expect? Idiot playthroughs are allowed. Very funny. Flaws are probably a system that you like in practice, but you don't ever take advantage of. Guilty as charged. Otherwise, though, it is very Fallout-esque. It's definitely more comedic in the first game. The second game does a better, I almost said gooder, holy crap, better blend of, I got to put on the glasses. I got to increase my intelligence here. It does a better blend of humor and seriousness, I think. So, yeah, just some things to expect. Matt, imagine the horror elements of Fallout 3 Remaster and Unreal Engine. Yeah, things like the Dunwich building will be sick to see how they handle the horror elements there. Fallout needs more horror in general. I hope that the new Fallout game takes advantage of that. That'd be sick. Been here since the Survivor 2299. Thank you. Glad you're streaming consistently. Any thoughts on the Obsidian Fallout will be a prequel or sequel to the show? I'd have to imagine just with Fallout, it always goes deeper in the timeline. Although we've never really seen a Fallout game that just says, like, we take place between 3 and 4, or we take place between New Vegas and 4, or between 4 and the TV show. We never really seen a Fallout game pitch itself like that. My assumption is that it's always going to be just moving down the timeline further, because it's always interesting because there's some way a previous Fallout game kind of tangentially impacts the next one. Like, okay, Fallout 3 is Project Purity, and so Fallout 4 being a little bit more about hope and rebirth, it's like, okay, if the Wasteland starts to rebuild and you have the events of Fallout 4 in mind, what does Sawyer's Fallout game look like with that in mind? I'd be very keen to see how they build on that. Like, and the beauty of Fallout is they can just ignore it. They can be like, this part of the Wasteland's fucked, dude. It's just a madhouse out here. And that just like the great stuff that's happening on the East Coast just did not reach Texas. Like, that's what it could be. Where's your jar at, bro? It's right here, man. Come on. We got the glasses. We got the mason jar. We're good. Matty Staples are here. Awesome Power World video. I bought it. Riding the wave. Let's go, Z-Bat. Thank you, bro. Thank you for joining the fight, joining the movement. But also just great game. A lot of fun, especially in co-op. Not bringing your MrMattyPlays to the stream. No, I did. I mean, we're going on and off, man. Like, if someone messages, they're like, dude, my wife's in the room. Hey, guys, it's Matty here. Then your wife leaves. It's like, okay, dad's back. See? All right. By radio. Thank you for your super chat. What about a Fallout that happens right after the bombs? Playing a ghoul, raiding vaults, etc. Would they break the mold like that or stay faithful? They could. I mean, Fallout 76 is interesting in concept. You know, there is a level of like, you know, while I'm not a big 76 fan, like there's a lot of great ideas in that game. And one is being able to play as a ghoul. And I talked about the Sin City ideas and being able to play as like a ghoul, a vault dweller, and like a raider or a wastelander in general, and having like different origin starting points. And this could definitely work based on your point in the timeline. They could build off of Fallout 4 and just put it at whatever point in the timeline, just whoever the vault dweller is. I guess that experiment was built off of whatever you saw in Vault 111, and so they like let you cryogenically freeze yourself in different vaults. I mean, for God's sakes, the TV show is doing the same fucking thing. It's like, okay, I guess this cryogenic freezing story points is going to be used all over the place. So could be interesting. I'd like Fallout to move down the timeline. Like, we're finally getting a new one. I want to see new things. A lot of people want them to retread old ground. And I want them to do it. Like, I want to see, like, you know, the oldie but goodies. Let me see what's up with the NCR. Let me see what's up with some of my favorite factions. Yeah, like, they can be in the mix, but I want to see, like, new guns. I want to see new types of, like, weapons, as in, like, you know, we've had energy and plasma. We have cold fusion, though, now. Like, what is that going to do to weapons? Like, think about those things. Think about the new things we've had introduced in the TV show. How are those going to have an impact on, like, the tech that we see in Fallout? The factions that are built off those very ideas, like, that kind of stuff. Someone just mentioned no building, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna have building in this new Obsidian one. I just hope it focuses on the important things. I really do. Houston has access to a NASA center, which the Enclave of Mr. House would want. Legion also has tried to conquer the area in the past. Fat Vanguard's he's cooking. So there's Matty, there's Mr. Zaddy. Wait, Mr. Zaddy. Then what is this? Grandpa? Maybe? Anyway, I like what you're cooking here. A lot of potential for Texas. Especially like the whole Murica thing. Could be sick. Fallout's built off a lot of that. God, is your game project actually a secret Fallout project? I wish. That would be fucking hilarious. Just be like, surprise, guys, we're the ones actually making this new thing. Buttery Cheeks. What a name. Maddie, what would you do if Asha had... What would you do if you had... Oh, if you had Asha's powers, I'd shut down 76, fire Emil, and force Todd to issue a public apology for creating Star... Well, that last one would get... Todd would quit. Todd would quit. What would I do? I kind of think I'd move in the line we're in now. Well, number one, I would have, like, started this shit a while ago. So I would have been like, hey, we own Fallout. Let's do something with it. No, we like people to miss things. I don't care. Let's try to find a way to make this work. I wouldn't shut down 76. I mean, from a business standpoint, there's a reason why 76 exists. I just would say, hey, we should probably put most of our resources into accelerating Elder Scrolls 6. And if 76 is taking away from that, I promise you, if I did the math, that Elder Scrolls 6 will make way more money than 76 ever will. So let's start injecting more talent into that game and getting that down the line quicker. Emil's always a big question mark. Definitely doesn't have any great quotes attached to him. So it's definitely like a question of, we would go through a nice assessment period of all of the Bethesda Game Studios senior staff, see what's going on there, and then make my decision from there. Todd can stay. Todd's the homie. It's like, all right, bro, nepotism. There we go. Detroit Fallout, working title called Michigan. I don't think it's going to be on the nose like that. I mean, if it is, that's crazy. But I don't think working titles aren't supposed to, at least usually not supposed to tell you, like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is what it's called. Do you think Obsidian's Fallout will have base building? I hope not. I really don't. It depends what they're going to do here. Like, are they going to hand Obsidian Creation Engine 3 with all the current Fallout stuff in there from, like, Fallout 4 and 76 and be like, here are your assets. Here's Creation Engine. Go. Burr. Like, kind of, you know, New Vegas style. If so, then maybe that base building just carries over. I mean, all these Bethesda games have base building. It's like, why do they all need base building? I really hope it doesn't. I know a lot of people love base building, but it's like, I just want to see a new system. It worked really well for Fallout 4's theme. Maybe not the story and how it was told or how it helped the gameplay and the exploration, but it helped with the theme. That's fine. 76 is pushing it. It's like, okay, building shit with your friends, sure. Tale as old as multiplayer gaming, sure. But then it's in fucking Starfield. I'm like, okay, guys, like, fucking enough. I have the massive urge to play an anime action RPG. Well, you should play one. Tales of series is a great action RPG. Star Ocean, another great one. A lot of classics there. I'm looking at my 360 collection, thinking maybe something will jump out to me here. You're saying massive. Hey, it's not really like action RPG in the traditional sense, but like Muso games can be pretty long. Those are my suggestions real quick off the top of my head. Got to stop speculating or else we're going to be really disappointed when the game isn't nearly as creative. You have such little faith, Chris. Such little faith in our lovely Obsidian. I'm going to have hope. Until there's no reason to have hope, I'm choosing hope. It's a choice, right? People can choose to be down, and they can tell me they're right at the end of the day. I'm not saying it's to be God tier, but I will choose to have hope. As the biggest Trails YouTuber, can we get an SC remake video and Horizon video this year? There's tens of us, man. You will get an SC remake video. Horizon video, God, dude, when am I talked about starting that when I was in Europe, but like that's probably the best I think I can do right now. Yeah, like I got to play Horizon this year. It'll happen. I get this question every stream. It will happen. Don't worry. The tens of Trails fans, I will serve you. I will. What's my Fallout 5 release date prediction? 2035, the latest. Guitar and Gaming. If it's starting pre-production now, it's active. We're kind of moving things along here, and Elder Scrolls 6's timeline has not been impacted, as I've been told. I reported on that in my video when we first had the news break. So 5-6 years, it's like, all right, 2035 the latest, which sucks. It's ass. Quick gut feelings on if these if these coming Fallout projects will be multi-plat or not. PlayStation, Nintendo. So funny, because Xbox has no clue what they're fucking doing right now. So my gut feeling is like, prepare for exclusivity on some level eventually, because they seem to value it. And if they really want to create value around their system, you got to let these IP lead the charge. Like, that's just the way you're going to get at least some people through the door. These are massive, underserved franchises that have huge, huge, huge fan bases that are hungry. If your business like Xbox is like, why wouldn't we use these? It's not like a Call of Duty. It's not like a Forza. Like, it's something different. It's a single player thing that's mega mainstream and mega popular. Like, why wouldn't you? I don't know. So I'm not super advocating for it. I'm telling people to prepare for that reality. Now, that said, Xbox just said in a recent statement from Matt Booty, he's like, oh, it's not etched in stone what we're doing with exclusivity. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, this guy opens his mouth and just unravels everything they did for the last month. Like, Matt Ball is like, yep, exclusivity is important. We're committing to a cadence. And then here comes Matt Booty, and he's just like, it's these dudes named Matt. I mean, fuck. So I would prepare for some form of exclusivity. Obsidian Fallout is fall 2030 at the earliest, in my opinion. Earliest, okay. I mean, definitely a very fair take if it's just starting now. In fact, it could be longer. We'll see. There's a lot that could accelerate this thing. It depends on the scope of the project. A lot of us are assuming AAA open world. What engine is it on? If it's on Unreal Engine 5, I think this goes a lot quicker. If this is Creation Engine, it could still go quick. We could do a whole let's run it back like we did last time with what's it called? The Fallout New Vegas. It's like, yep, let's just like go ham on this and do this in 18 months. I don't think they give him that little time, but like maybe 2 years. I don't fucking know, dude. It sounds insane to say out loud, but I think right now no one knows quite yet. But 2030, the earliest would I don't know. You could see it there. I could see it. How do you like the building across Fallout and Starfield, or even games in general? I think building in games is fun. Like, I love Pocopia. Dragon Quest Builders is one of my favorites, man. I love that game, specifically Dragon Quest Builders 2. Play Dragon Quest Builders 2. Building in Fallout is fine. Like, I think, as Todd said, it does just work. I know we meme that quote, but that does just work. They did deliver on that. I just think it really hurt what they're great at, which is like, if what Todd's saying is true, like, hey, Elder Scrolls 6 is classic on-foot Bethesda. I truly want that. I don't want, like, yeah, but, like, here's this gimmick. Like, we actually decided, like, now there's this new procedural thing, like Starfield. Or, like, now we're doing this, like, this base build. We're doing city. Instead of, building bases, you're building villages, and they turn into cities. It sounds cool, but then with Fallout 4, you learned with the settlements, like, most of civilization lied there. You really had Good Neighbor, and you had Diamond City. We need more than that. So if Elder Scrolls 6 shows up, it's like, well, yeah, you're building cities now. It's like, fuck, man. Fuck. Like, it could be cool if it was kind of like what I pitched from like building off of what Fallout Shelter did, where like interesting vault dwellers show up and you get those unique NPCs brought to your city. But yeah, someone said boat and castle builder. Yeah, like I feel like they're going to be like, you don't just build your cities here. You build your boats. You build your armies. You build your castles. And it's like, okay, well, like, and this is the thing that I worry about, because like Elder Scrolls being listed as a platform style game means like I feel building is inevitable. It's a video that I have in the making that I need to talk about, where it's just like absolutely inevitable. You know, that they're just like, I just don't want to accept it. So I don't mind the building. I think it works thematically, but it went from thematic into money cow into like every game needs to have this. Project Platinum was just the New Vegas remake. Skooma Head, I'm going to need some context on that. I'll Google it just to see if I can help myself out here. Project Platinum, Fallout, New Vegas. Let's see what comes up. Todd Howard's been alluding to another shadow drop. Oh, did I miss this? We know the FTC document leaks. Oh, on the FTC thing. Hang on. Okay, hold on. Bethesda. Let me read that in context. All right. Bethesda FTC leak. All right. Okay. This stupid fucking... Hang on. Okay. So. Oh, smaller. The fuck? Okay. Project Platinum. Platinum chip. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. No fucking way. Is that sitting there the whole time? But it's saying it's supposed to come before Fallout 3. No. We almost had it. I almost thought I had a brain blast. Do you see Bethesda put out job postings? Had a coworker show me the website. Feels a little strange given the layoffs. It's time to hire for Fallout, baby. Yeah. I don't know. This is why I said I'm not in a rush to... Build your guild is a good idea, Hoodie XP. I'm just seeing that now. I'm not in a rush to be right on anything, because I just feel like they're like, get rid of everyone. We need to reset the budgets. Okay, now that we need to bring people back, what do we need to make Fallout 5 go burr in like 5 years? Cool. Okay, we'll start hiring now. Sure. It definitely is strange. Thank you for your donation, Cody Savage. We appreciate you. I would say Obsidian Fallout after Elder Scrolls 6, Xbox PC only, release it maybe 6 months later on Sony. It depends again. If it's starting from scratch, yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 should come first, but I think there is a world where if this is just a pivoted project, I do think there's a world where, you know, it can arrive before. We'll see. We'll see. I just want it ASAP, bro. I really do. Am I the only one saddened by Avowed's cancellation? No, you're certainly not the only one saddened by it. I will say, and I'm not trying to dance on the grave, I care significantly less. I'm just like, okay, you know, like... Obsidian's been able to have their cake and eat it too in this moment here, man. I think things could have been way worse for them layoff-wise if they were not making a Fallout game. I think that's what retained a lot of their staff. They had 2 big RPG flops, but like they can keep making things like Avowed or Outer Worlds or Grounded. That can be their B stuff. I just think A should be Fallout, which is, I think, what they would agree with. A lot of their leadership teams have been for this thing. So I don't want to speak for them too much, but I don't think you're the only one saddened by it. I think an Avowed 2 has potential, but like, why would you double down on that when I think the framework was just so controversial in so many ways? Such a messy project. Hey, Maddie, my wife left me after she saw your video with the glasses. Who's the best Fallout companion I should pursue to fill the void? Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but luckily I got some digital waifus for you. I really like Kate a lot in Fallout 4. I know, like, obviously we all go to New Vegas, but I'll give you, like, a kind of off-the-board pick. I really love Kate in Fallout 4. I think she's excellent. In New Vegas... I would say Rose of Sharon Cassidy, just too funny, bro. Too funny. You can pretend things are okay with Amada. You can relive your trauma. Piper is another good one. You know, Piper is a good one. Is Veronica straight? I see people mentioning Veronica. I don't think Veronica's straight, though. I'm assuming a man is writing in here. Yeah, is my wife left me? I mean, I don't know. Veronica... Is Veronica gay? Let's just... Is Veronica gay? Fallout New Vegas. Yes, she is. She's openly gay. No Veronica for you, man. Sorry. Yeah, those would be my 3 picks. I love Piper too. Just great. Fallout 4's companions are really underrated in the scheme of things, I think. Wow, generous super chat here, Vanguard. Thank you. Thank you guys all for supporting the streams. Seriously. Bro it up with Boone. That's a good one. Houston, another Houston fun fact from Vanguard here. Houston has never really been a backdrop for anything in media, even though it's the 4th most populous city. Ranks number 2 with Core, and Fallout Alt Universe would change that much. Independence Day was the only media uses. Independence Day was the only media that uses Nukes Houston. Okay, so we've got something here. Bethesda could explore untapped territory. I'm just saying, I like how hard you're pushing for this because you're making a compelling argument. Yeah, like I have my theories on the Fallout location, as you saw in the video. And I do think my regret is not including Texas, because that's definitely a really good one to pick from that we don't consider too often. It would hit that kind of Wild West feel that New Vegas had, like put them up at the same time in the howdy partner, all that stuff, while being very different. I dig this. Give me more of this. What we need in a building system is governance, raids, politics, and outside interaction with the greater world. It should flow with the world, in my opinion. But then, we're changing the very fabric of a Bethesda Game Studios game when we just go into that system more and more, and we turn it basically into Frostpunk, which I love Frostpunk, but I don't play Bethesda games to experience Frostpunk. I play their games so I explore fucking worlds, not so I build cities and watch everyone walk around like, oh, look what I did. Fuck, man. We lost the plot. Enough of this. I'm putting my foot down. I have the glasses on. I'm putting my foot down. Chances of Obsidian bringing some romance to new Fallout. I remember that interview with Patel said they shelved that for making good character relationships. Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 really show that. Yeah. So, co-host Lord Cognito spoke to Brandon Adler and Matthew Singh about Outer Worlds 2. They talked to them about romance and stuff, and they said they hear us on this. They're gonna. They didn't say they're going to do it for their next game, but I think they're going to do it for their next game. I think it's very clear that when they do their next big RPG, we are going to get romance. Will it be good or not? I don't know, because they had a really interesting thought and approach to romance that I think justified itself in the first Outer Worlds with Parvati. They said no romance because we're going to tell better character relationship stories. And Parvati is, I think, fucking amazing. So I love that you kind of played Wingman. It was very different for its time. It's not about, can I sleep with her? It's can she sleep with someone else? And, how can I help with that? I thought that was really cool, especially how it explored a character and explored the writer behind it. I thought that was excellent. But otherwise, I don't think they've really justified their movement. And gamers want a goon, bro. I don't know how else to put it. Gamers want a goon. What is this white shit on my shirt? Speaking of gooning, this is literal. Oh, this is toothpaste. You got to be kidding me. No, this is not my Silent Hill shirt. Hang on. It's not what you think. Anyway, I think there's a high chance. Other than remasters, will Fallout New Vegas 2 and Fallout 5 be on Series X? Probably. If they're starting development now, probably. Especially if they're announcing it. I think they would say for the next generation, for Helix or something like that. I think Helix is going to be more cross-gen, that kind of thing. So I think you're fine. Didn't want to say anything. The real Matty Slop. If you could pick any studio and let them develop a single game for any IP, which IP would you choose? My pick would be an Obsidian-developed Halo RPG. I would say give Capcom a Halo survival horror game. I would love that. I would love that. All right, guys, we're moving on from the shirt. You didn't see anything. That's enough. I think I missed some super chats. Let me catch up real quick. They've been coming in a mile a minute, which I am super appreciative of. I'm totally not trying to distract myself from this the toothpaste slander. Locke, you're joining the mess too? How dare you? It is toothpaste, damn it. Where's that dust coming from? Let's see here. Who did I miss? Okay, I missed Charlie Williamson. Charlie Williamson, thank you for your super chat. He said, do you think Nintendo will ever make a true RPG open world game? Base building, survival aspects, multiple different outcomes, ability to join factions, etc. I would absolutely love that. Maybe we heard that rumor about, what was it, like Project something. And that project was like a Pokemon MMO, and maybe you get pieces of that there. I mean, what you're describing in at least some ways basically is Pal World, which is what's so funny. But yeah, obviously Pokemon has this world of potential that just, I feel, has not been realized. Like, we all had this vision for when Switch 1 came out, like what Pokemon would start to turn into, and it's just not even come close. You know, we've gotten cool, great games, Pokopia. I love Legends Arceus. But like anything when it comes to the true open world Pokemon experience, we're just not there. Winds and Waves looks like it has potential, though. It definitely looks like it has potential. Underwater exploration. You've got, of course, the open world stuff. Visually, it looks a little bit better. Switch 2 exclusive. They're taking a year off. Like, cool. Will it have base building, survival aspects, multiple different outcomes, ability to join factions? Probably not, because they'll always just go down to like, oh, it's for kids. Even though fucking tons of adults play the Pokemon series. Thank you for your support. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone else. I missed Ice Cap Lord. Are you playing Tokon's beta on Friday? Arc System took feedback to Heart from the closed betas and bridged it way closer to Fighters. Oh, shit. Well, I'm fucking in. Yeah, I'd like to give it a rip. I was going to pick it up anyway. We'll talk about that a little bit when it comes to our PlayStation topic. And sort of my stance on their games moving forward. But yeah, like, this game looks amazing anyway. But I'll be trying out the beta just to feel it out. I also missed this one. Holy crap. Vatican Boss says, I would love a Fallout game in China or Russia so we could see the opposing side of the conflict. Oldies aesthetic would be nuked, but would be cool. Yeah, I would like that too. I think that's why I think more like Chinese, European, Canadian factions should start to build in Fallout, so then you know, we can get there organically over time. There's just so much in the United States to still explore. It feels so early to be like, and we're going to Europe now. I don't need Fallout to be overhauled that much. Did I miss anyone else? Job postings. I didn't miss you. Didn't miss you. Got back to my wife left me. We're good. We're good. Okay. Nope, we're not good. Nope. Creamed asparagus. Hi, Maddie. Do you think Obsidian being told to make a Fallout game versus having to make one of their own fruition will affect the quality of it? No. I do not. They have wanted this for a while. I think they are happy that someone, my guess, I don't know. No one's told me this. My guess is like, there's probably a level of a lot of their staff saying like, fucking finally, bro. They've been making so many games like Bethesda games. Avowed. The Outer Worlds 1 and 2. Just give them the fucking IP. Like, I think Obsidian forced the point by being like, let's make something so close to Fallout that they give us Fallout. You know, not like it was Galaxy Brain, but like, if it's not, whatever. We'll just keep doing what we did before. But like, let's basically make Fallout. People want post-apocalyptic from us. Josh Sawyer's directing it. Let's just make Fallout. And they're like, I'm sure Xbox saw it and said, why isn't this Fallout? And that's all she wrote. I don't think Obsidian is like, oh my God, bro. Like, we're being forced to do this. The artist's expression. You know, I'm sure the Avowed 2 team isn't pleased. But look, this is exactly what I talked about. And I won't speak for these teams because I'm sure they have their own thoughts. From my point of view, though, game development has always been a balance of creativity and survivability. And these two, like the business and the creativity, have to work together in a way that makes sense. Obsidian has a lot of studio freedom. They're still making tons of different projects. That is rare. We see so many teams, like even Bethesda Game Studios just now is talking about becoming a co-development environment where they're doing 2 games at once, right? That is like a new thing for them. Obsidian released 3 games in a year last year. Whether it was part of a good process or not, they did that last year. So Obsidian's still making all these other smaller things. I don't think it's bad for their business to be like, hey, we're going to make a new Fallout video game, which will no doubt sell like hotcakes, good or bad, and that will give us a lot of money and breathing room to continue to make other things in the meanwhile, in between these likely recurring Fallout projects. It was bound to happen. They've been open to it for a while. I don't think it's going to affect the quality. I think the only thing that will affect the quality is the timeline of which they are given and how creative they are, and of course their polish process, which is how it will always have been. That's my 2 cents. You know, it's keeping them alive. And again, I will always say that for those who are like, oh my God, and they laid off 25%, I don't know this for sure, but my guess would be I bet that number would be more like 50% after 2 flops last year if they were not working on a Fallout game. So I'm sure some of them are like, I still got a job in an industry that's laying a ton of people off. Again, I'm making a lot of assumptions, so I can't say for sure, but like, I don't think this is really going to affect the quality. If anything, it's giving them some life. Don't think it's bad for business. And I don't think working on Fallout's bad for creativity. But we'll see how controlling Bethesda is of things. Bethesda could be an awful business partner. Monkey Cam says, other than remasters for the Fallout. Okay, we answered that. I apologize for doing that. Okay, let's see if I'm caught up. Mass Martyr, you're the last one I missed here. If you could pick any studio and let them develop a single game for any... I fucking answered that. Holy shit. Okay, so we're good now. I've been playing Fallout 4 since it released and have never been able to pick an ending. Who should I go with for my current save? My favorite ending in Fallout 4 is probably... okay. I think the most interesting one is the Institute, is what I would say. I went with Brotherhood of Steel my first time around. Did not regret that. Railroad's a bit like, it's all right. I'd say the strongest one in Commonwealth Minutemen, so I would say your 2 strongest ones are Brotherhood of Steel or Institute, and whatever speaks to you more. I wouldn't ask me, ask yourself. As Josh Sawyer said, interrogate your values. Yeah, I would say Brotherhood. Yeah, I like where chat's going. Institute's interesting because once you get perspective, like seeing the Institute ending after is like, oh, like someone said in chat, like, were they wrong? It's kind of a cool way to approach it. Can you show us some of your best collectibles? They're all behind me here. These are like my favorite collectibles. My Revan figure, Battle Network Complete in Box, Last Ronin figure, some Fallout figures, Master Editions for KOTOR 1 and 2. Like, it's all here. PS Vita. Oh, I almost tore that down. Got that right here. This is the Persona 4 dancing one. That's another favorite of mine. Yeah, I have all my stuff that I love kind of in my background, basically. Thank you for your interest, though. Do you think we'll ever see Dino Crisis 1 and 2 remake? Also, what's up? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you, Dave. For the Dino Crisis remake, there was a rumor that it's been in development for a while, and I think we will. There's been enough fan demand. Capcom has been so good at just, like, satiating fan desire across the board. Like, we'll give you your remakes, we'll give you your new entries. We're going to take care of this series over here as well. And, like, I think they have a good balance. Like, the fact that we're still getting Dragon's Dogma 2 stuff, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. When that happens, I don't know, but I love Dino Crisis 1. I love that game so much. I played it for the first time 2 years ago. I think it's spectacular. It's so pure. It made me emotional in a way I never expected. Like, I'm glad I experienced it when I did, because it was just so 90s. I was like, dude, this game's awesome. So yeah, I love me some Dino Crisis. I hope we see a remake. Please check out my RPG, Realms of Dirt. It's inspired by Morrowind, New Vegas, Fallout 4, and Oddworld. I love you, Matt. Wow, coming on strong here. All right. He paid for the marketing package, $20. Let's see what we got here. Realms of Dirt. Okay. Oh, you're early. Let's put this up on screen for y'all. Here you go. This is what we got for Realms of Dirt. We got character customization, work in progress. We've got another one, work in progress. Oh, you're just like straight up dev documenting this. I respect this, dude. This is awesome. Congratulations. I mean, the main thing I want you should make sure about is before you start marketing, like, make your game playable. Find the fun. And then start talking about it. I think it's awesome what you're doing, though, dude. It's not easy taking on a project like this. So best of luck. And stay strong during the times of turbulence. It can kind of like go like this sometimes. And so, make sure you bite off. Make sure you don't bite off more than you can chew. It's really easy for your eyes to be bigger than your stomach. Anyway, best of luck, dude. I'm a diehard Elder Scrolls fan who also loves Fallout. Elder Scrolls 6 isn't great. I think Bethesda could be cooked, and so any hype for Fallout 5 would be destroyed, basically, and so they cannot miss. I think Fallout 5 will be fine no matter what. That's my hot take in this all. I think Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 will do really well no matter what. Bethesda's reputation is another story. I think the benefit they have of these two projects is they are purely pride projects. Like, you can just, like, you could fight for your reputation here because these games are going to sell well no matter what. Because especially with Elder Scrolls 6, there is going to be a level of curiosity of just, this is it. This is the first time we're getting one since 2011. Let's hop in and see what we've got. Dell's in the building. Good to see you, man. I saw you were on Last Stand recently. Thank you for supporting. Obsidian getting Fallout IP is a lifeline for sure. Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad you agree with me. I might be saying something right then. Good to see you, dude. Thanks for being here. Hey, Maddie. I've been watching since the Ham Radio podcast. Thank you. About a decade now. Jesus Christ, dude. This hair is going to turn gray eventually. Shout out to Lone and Noah. Love seeing your channel grow, dude. Keep it up. Thank you, man. Thank you. And we still stay connected, us three. And just great times. Foundational moment. Like, the thing, Fallout 4, like, it would be so cool if we could get us all back together for an episode when Fallout 4, or sorry, the new Fallout game's revealed. I think that'd be sick. Just bring us back to square one. My hot take for Fallout is that I don't ever want to have a Fallout outside of America. In my opinion, Fallout is so based on Americana and the mystery of what's going on in the world. It's part of the magic. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. There's like a ton of other states and cities that we should be able to explore first. Canada's kind of like on the fringe where you could edge your way into there and maybe make something happen. But, pardon me, I agree largely that it should stay in America. I will say, though, holy shit, if you've not played Fallout London, you should. It definitely will change your mind on some things. I never thought Fallout could be set anywhere else other than America. And Fallout London is such a well-done project because it convinces you, like, oh, you can keep all these feelings of the theme while shaking it up some and making it work in a different location. So definitely check that out. Do you think that Elder Scrolls 6 will dive deeper into the Dwemer or the lore? Well, my prediction for Elder Scrolls 6, I'm less of a lore guru when it comes to Elder Scrolls versus something like Fallout, which I know a little bit better. My prediction for Elder Scrolls was that they were gonna have the budding conflict with the Thalmor was gonna pop off, and it was going to involve the Red Guards. And I think the game's going to be a lot about like another war, but on a massive level. Like, there was a civil war in Skyrim, and it was very small scale that at least what you saw. I think this is going to be about capturing that big war. So I think they'll dive into that. All the stuff to the side, though, the Dwemer and whatnot, like, could they dive into that? I guess they could, right? Because Skyrim really is about the return of the dragon. So I don't know what they could do to make your character special, like the hero of Kvatch in Oblivion, for example. I don't know what they're going to do to make you special like the Dovahkiin or like the Starborn or like the Soul Survivor. Those titles are so important to Bethesda, so I'm curious what that hook, that tag will be for the 6 character here. And if it has to do with the Dwemer, that'd be interesting as well. Glasses +1 intelligence, +2 charisma, goon glazed toothpaste teeth. Oh, glazed is so extreme. Dude, why is it back? Hang on. Do I do this? This is a risky play. Okay, I'm going to go really slow here. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. Does that look better? Okay, I mean, once it dries up. Why wasn't it going away? I swear it's toothpaste. I brushed my teeth before the stream, man. Come on. Anyway, Goon Glazed t-shirt. Okay, I get -5 charisma for that. That's crazy. +2 endurance. Jokes aside, I'm glad they officially announced Fallout 3 and New Vegas remasters. Oh, my God. Interesting DLC locations near Houston if used as a base. Galveston. Oh, okay. Hire Fat Vanguard, man. This guy's got the vision. He's got the vision. He's got Galveston on the map now. Come on. Oh, now he pissed on his shirt. Yeah, now, no, guys, I didn't pee myself. Bro pissed himself. Oh, no. Oh, wait, he's got more side locations. College Station, Texas Renaissance Festival. I love the Renaissance Festival. Texas State Penitentiary at Huntsville, Austin, New Orleans, Dallas, Fort Worth. Wow, dude. And since we're viewing this guy, 3 super chats in a row on this. And since we are viewing this from 2077, there is a planned spaceport southwest of Houston. So the moon, we're going to the fucking moon too. Wow. Wow. Infinite budget, infinite timeline. Sign Fat Vanguard up. Have you heard of Dread of Delusion? I want to know your take. I have not. Dread of Delusion. Oh, Dread Delusion, sorry. Wait, you know what? I think I do recognize this. Hang on. Yes, I did watch this with you guys before. Yes. Yeah, this looked really cool if I remember correctly. This is the Steam trailer. Very Morrowind. Oh, cool. Yeah, I remember seeing this. Yeah, this looks cool. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, this looks awesome. When does this come out? Oh, it's out. Oh, it's been out. Oh, my God. That's so good. And this looks awesome. Oh. There's something to be said about a list I can make. I can update our most popular video about like games you should play before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and just do another like 10 Elder Scrolls likes. That'd be a good one. Dread Delusion. I will add that to my wish list. Thank you for this shout out here. This is what I'm talking about, bro, with like Steam and digital games. You just like so easy to just add to the list and add to the list. Let me add this to my wish list though. Does it have a physical release? Does Dread Delusion have a physical copy? Oh, there is a physical. Let's see here. Open world RPG Dread Delusion on its way to Switch 2. Control F. Physical. No, I don't see anything. Anyway, it says it does. They were produced by publishers like Clear River Games and were carried by various retro boutique physical retailers. Okay. It's on Switch 2 now. Oh, I love my Switch. Fuck. Okay, cool. This looks interesting. I'll have to watch some reviews on it and see like what it does and doesn't do. Because I got some Morrowind vibes on that. If peeing on your shirt is cool, consider him Miles Day. I don't know who the fuck that is, bro. I'm clearly living under a rock here. Oh my God, this is okay. I'm just showing my age at this point. Whoops. Famous composer and musician. Thank you. I think. If we're throwing in the moon as a location, then screw it. Let's add Mars in as well because aliens. Yeah, let's just do an expansion on Mothership Zeta. Fuck it. I'm on vacation. I just wanted to get more eyes on Houston. Okay, well, you got eyes on Houston, brother. That's for damn sure. Everyone's thinking about it in chat. It was a Billy Madison reference. I don't... Again, what... Okay, I'll go one layer deeper. Y'all are hitting me with the ... dots. Oh, it's a film. I haven't seen this film. There you go. It's got... Okay. I'm really getting hit with the... Yo, Maddie, you haven't... Like, ... 40%. 6.4. Shut up. I don't want to hear... I don't want any fucking dude when I'm looking at those reviews and you're like, yo, you haven't seen that yet, bro? That's enough. That's enough. You've never seen? Wow. No, I haven't. I have not. That's a classic. Not in my house. It's a well-known movie. No, it's not. I refuse to. I'm kidding. It actually probably is. But I'm not taking that answer. No, you can't be serious. Adam Sandler classic. All right, let's talk Adam Sandler for a moment here. All right. as real as the piss on my shirt here, okay? Let's talk Adam Sandler classics, okay? Let me get an Adam Sandler movie list here. We need to consider them all. I just accidentally Googled Adam Sandler just in general. Okay. Let's talk some bona fide classics here. I'm looking at them right now. Of course, Happy Gilmore. It doesn't really get much better than that. And we're talking about... What was the fucking movie's name? What was it called again? Billy Madison? Okay. Happy Gilmore's there. Let's put some respect on Click's name. Can we just do that real quick? Like, are we cool with that? I think Click is hilarious. And I also think it's very cathartic. If I had the Click remote, I'd do half the shit I saw in that fucking movie. I thought it was so fulfilling to watch him, like, pause the movie, slap the shit out of his boss, rip ass in his face. I'm like, dude, tell me you wouldn't. Try telling me you wouldn't. Click is brilliant. You know, kicking the dude in the balls when he finds out he's his wife. Like, come on now. We love Click. 51st Dates. That's a great one. The Longest Yard. I'm looking at that right now. And y'all coming to my chat, you're like, you haven't seen Billy Madison? A year after Billy Madison released, we got Happy Gilmore. Come on. There's so many Adam Sandler movies. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit, man. I have not seen Uncut Gems. I keep slapping my ring on things. Sorry. I've not seen Uncut Gems. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be difficult right now. I'm genuinely just trying to be difficult because I got some sass in chat. Theory. The engine they use for Obsidian's Fallout will show how Asha wants to run Xbox. Unreal for getting games out quicker, or Creation Engine to make as much money as possible. Maybe that's why they're holding back on their answer. There might be more connected to it than that. I like this. It'll tell us a lot about the business. Therefore, it's an Xbox call, not a Bethesda call. Because why hold back otherwise? I hope the next Fallout game doesn't use 476's weapon design. 4 introduced the worst weapon designs I've seen all around. Fuck the Fallout 4 assault rifle. That shit is heinous. It is like this rotund, cannon-like, fat iron sight. It's so impractical in every way. Like, it doesn't look like it was strapped together like some weird Fallout tech. It just looks inefficient. It looks like it was built for the power armor, but then you could carry it around as a human being. It's a little strange. MrMattyPlays. Give it to me sloppy style. After my 115-hour P5 and no third semester, and now 40 hours of 5S, I told myself I wouldn't be absorbed by this game. I lied. I'll catch the stream for the morning drive. Well, thank you. I look forward to speaking into your ears during your morning drive, but I will say 5 Strikers is great and super under-discussed, I think. Like, people always talk about 5 base game, or 4 base game, I should say, and 4 spin-offs and how great those are, but that there were a lot of them. 5 got spin-offs and a lot of them, but 5 Strikers is really good. Really, really good. It's a shame you didn't get to the third semester, though, man. Like, damn, dude. Such a shame. Super worth it, too. I did miss a super chat from Sick Carnage Requiem. Have you seen the game Aether Cycle? Looks like an interesting mix of Diablo and Oblivion. It's on my wish list. Okay, let's run it back. Aether Cycle. This is a early access game here. I should put on the headphones now. My hair is dry. Okay. That's one way to get my attention. Oh. Nice. Oh, cool. Cool. Some of the sound effects could be better, but, like, that's easy to polish. Now that's Oblivion. Holy shit. Yo, what? That's Oblivion, bro. With icons and like how they're in those little cubes. Come on now. That's hilarious. Wow. How many points did I just... 195 passive points and 197 skill points. Yeah, this is the Diablo shit. Bros pose. These poses will not do. They're like borderline A posing everywhere, dude. Whoa. Everyone's wearing helmets. It's so funny because you know the reason they're masked is because of the facial animations. Oh, it's multiplayer. What the fuck? Huh. I didn't expect the multiplayer element.
Now the cycle offers you a chance to rise.
Looks pretty cool, man. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Not a bad wreck here. I'm the weirdo whose favorites in comedians' filmographies are the drama. So for Adam Sandler, it's the Meyerowitz stories or Meyerowitz story. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Uncut Gems and Rain Over Me. Yeah, it's always interesting seeing people who are like historically funny just act serious for a moment. Like at the end of the Lego movie when like all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's Will Ferrell and he's in this like heartfelt father-son moment. You know, it's just, I think it's really good stuff. I fucking love the Lego movie, bro. We just talked about that. Lego movie 1. Perfect story. Perfect message. I rewatched that movie so many times. So when I first got that thing on Blu-ray, I watched that game. Why is the Red Dead? I mean, I love Red Dead, but why are we listening to Red Dead ambient music, bro? There we go. I had New Vegas stuff going. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Lego movie. Just like I watched that movie like 15 times in a row. I was so obsessed with it. Very generous super chat here from Arturo. I hope the next Fallout game is a car like in Starfield would go so hard. I think this would be a cool thing to have return. I think people are open to it. Starfield has the tech, right? If they use creation, you could throw the Highwayman back in. The Highwayman does show up in Fallout New Vegas, right? It's like a lootable location. But I think it would be awesome to see the Highwayman return in some way, or something kind of Mad Max like where you build your own car. And there's more like stretches of open wasteland that you cross. That would be fucking sick, dude. I'd really love that. Really, really good suggestion here. I used to be very against Fallout and vehicles, but I think I've really warmed up to the idea. I think it would be, if you kind of played with the resource management of it all, I think that'd be cool. But then it kind of invites in the idea of like driving into people, running other raiders over. I really like the way that the older Fallout games managed it, because it was kind of about map traversal and less about combat, which kind of came down to you. And then there's games like Wasteland 3, which let you roll your whole on fucking tank into combat in random encounters in the overworld, and that was awesome too. Why not remake the other Elder Scrolls or do a TV show based on the entire series game by game? By the way, what is that Oblivion game that just came in? That was called Aether Cycle. Before that, the game that we showed was Dread Delusion. So you can check either of those two out if that's what you were talking about. Now, for remaking older Elder Scrolls, it's because the older Elder Scrolls are significantly heavier lifts. So games like Daggerfall can't be remade. It's way too big. You'd have to like cut the scope tremendously because it's all just like generating the world over and over and over. You thought Starfield was big. Not as big as this one. I don't know much about Battlespire. I guess you could maybe try to remake that. And then Morrowind, to bring it in line with Skyrim, which I imagine would be the goal. would require a complete rethinking of their entire skill structure and like how you build your character. Like the whole game would be redesigned, and I think the compromise would be too great. Where I wonder if Bethesda would be ending up making something entirely different instead of kind of respecting what was originally there, like they tried to do with Oblivion, and then solve some of its problems. So maybe there's a smaller fix to that system with skills. Like to me, I think about how modern players who would pick up a new Elder Scrolls game wouldn't want to deal with like, oh, I swung my weapon in front of an enemy and it missed. Why did it miss? I don't really get that. It's not like turn-based where there's a percentage chance or anything like that. It's not very clear in an action game for, I guess, more casual gamers. So I think for maybe Morrowind, you could argue like maybe they'll remove the combat impact of like accuracy for these skills and maybe have them just do increased damage. Like you could redesign it that way, but I think a lot of purists would hate that. Best weapons in Fallout 3 and where to find them, please. Also, any other tips? I have a whole video about the 10 best weapons in Fallout 3. So you can check out Young Matty on that one, and I believe I give the location in those. Any other tips, though? If you're this deep where you're looking for like rare weapons and stuff, I think you got it, dude. Fallout's not a series that you need a lot of tips for. A lot of it's very like self-explanatory, like don't steal from people if you don't want to have everyone hate you. Karma system though could be easily manipulated, that sort of stuff, you know, very basic level stuff. There are certain exploits you can do, like using the Vault Tech bobbleheads and building your character around the collectibles in the world. Like once you have a certain level of knowledge, you can be like, okay, I'm going to get, I think, what is it, the Strength bobblehead in Lucas Sims' house in Megaton? Is it Strength? Hang on. Let's check my Fallout knowledge here. What bobblehead is in Lucas Sims' house? Fallout 3. Let's see. It is Strength. There you go. So you can build around that and be like, okay, I'll use these bonuses over here from the bobbleheads to reinforce certain parts of my character. That you need a tips on dinner video. Please make a video on that. That's funny. Thank you, Mouth Pudding. I hope your son's sleeping well, dude. Hope he's not causing too much of a fuss. Damn kids. Yeah, I guess that's someone mentioned Gauss Rifle at the end of Operation Anchorage. I guess that's worth saying that some of the best loot in Fallout is also in its DLC. Like if you go ahead and do Operation Anchorage, you'll never want for power for the rest of the game because you're just gonna like fucking rinse everything else. Selfishly, I hope Obsidian game retreads over some locations from Tactics. I'm happy someone at Microsoft just found out they own the Fallout IP. I'm happy about that latter part too. As for like Tactics stuff, you could argue that we might see a little bit of that in Season 3. I think it's possible. So time will tell. But I think retreading some elements is fine. I just want them to embrace like, hey, let's not just do New Vegas again. Like, I think people want that in like spirit, maybe like the things that make New Vegas great, like the focus on choice, the focus on factions, that structure. You know, that focus on writing and content building. I think that's what people care about the most, and they want that. But I think they'll take that in a different setting with some new factions that are just as interesting to talk about. Like, I want them to add to the Fallout lore. Like, a lot of what the TV show is doing is bringing things to life. And it's doing some new stuff, like Cold Fusion is new. We're seeing more of the pre-war than ever. That's new. It seems like Season 3 with Colorado, we're truly getting into the new. But it's been a lot of... It's like, there's a lot of just, like, we're kind of in the era now of Fallout where... especially with 76, this kind of recurrent live service thing. Like, we're just kind of running a lot of old shit back. Like, it's time for new shit. I think, at least. My new speculated release date for Fallout 3 Remaster is February 2027, mostly because of Metro 2039, which is releasing at the same time. But I'm worrying about the possible infighting at Bethesda and Obsidian. I don't think you have to worry about the last part. And also, I don't think Bethesda is going to make a decision on their Fallout Remaster compared to the Metro 2039 release, because to tell you the truth, Fallout 3 Remaster is going to sell better than most games next year. So if the Oblivion Remaster is anything to go by. So yeah, dude, I don't I think they'll release it whenever they want to next year. As long as it's next year, I'll be a happy camper. It could be earlier in the year, and then they're just going to celebrate the Fallout 3 remaster in DC in October. Or they could be shadow dropping it that day. We shall see. Part of me thinks like shadow dropping at the same time as the sort of event. Like, I feel like maybe you like do it a little bit before so people are playing it and then they go into the event to be able to talk about all this stuff. But yeah, man, I don't know. I wouldn't worry about infighting right now. I mean, kind of funny he had Todd and Fergus on the phone. Sounds like they're fine. I've been watching through Josh Sawyer's Fallout New Vegas playthrough stream from a few years ago. He mentions all the things he wanted to do but couldn't due to time constraints. I wonder how that will factor into their new game. I'm excited. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about too. He seems to have revisited that well multiple times in interviews and in his own content, like talking about the things he would do. So I feel like there actually is something worth taking out of the content mining. Do you have any specific examples you could throw in chat? I'd be very curious as to kind of the things that he mentioned that he wanted to revisit. I know he spoke highly of Creation, or I should say the Gamebryo engine, and just how it was really good for content building. Like, it was a pain in the ass with a lot of other things, but that the reason that they could build as quickly as they did was because of the engine they had. And it makes you wonder about like what engine they're going to go with this go around. I think Obsidian should reach out to creators like you, Oxhorn, Robots, and Epic Nate for advisory, lore/temp. Rafi Silver researched your material. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, like, with Bethesda's new form of communication, like, I reached out to them with a bunch of questions on everything they just shared last week. And some of these are like deeper questions, like plans for certain things. And I was like, let's see how communicative you guys are. And while I asked 8 questions, and while I did get some non-answers, I got some legit answers, and that'll be tomorrow's video. So I don't know if they're coming to us for advisory, because I think that kind of breaks to me the boundary a bit of like, I'm here to create content. I'm not here to serve your company. I'm a fan of the games, but that doesn't mean like I'm working for you guys. But I've always given them my 2 cents on like what they're doing now with communication. I'm like, this is what I've been telling them to do for years. I'm like, you guys want to stop being destroyed online? Like, start talking to people. You don't have to talk to me. Like, it's not about my content. Go talk to other creators. Like, I'm sure they'll take you up on it. And so I will have a lot of actual news to share tomorrow for our video, based on answers Bethesda gave me. So they're talking to us a little bit more and like actually giving, like, when I say answers, I mean like useful fucking answers. Like, I don't want to tease any of them. I think 3 of them were really good, where I was like, whoa, okay, like that's something. So, yeah. Actually, there's a 4th thing that got snuck into one of my answers where I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. So, fret not, my friends. I'm sure they're listening closer than ever, because whether it's Xbox making them or Todd's doing it himself, I don't care anymore. I don't care about the hows and the whys of it. I'm just happy it's happening. Spoilers for the video. Nope, no spoilers. Trust me. There is some good shit I got. I want to overhype it. It's not like groundbreaking, but like I think it'll be covered by outlets for sure. And I did all this without having to get an interview with Todd Howard. I will flex on that. I'm very proud of myself. BioWare went to content creators for advisory on Dragon Age Veilguard. We all see how well that helped. Yeah. I don't do the whole advisory thing. Like, there have been companies who have come to me and been like, hey, we'd like to invite you to this, like, new, like, you're a content creator, but we'd like to invite you to this other program that lets you, like, play test the thing early and give feedback as you go along. And I'm like, no, not my job. I play test my own games, but I'm not play testing your guys' thing and effectively being what amounts to very valuable feedback, because we're tied into the community, but you're getting it for free. It's not even if you paid me, I'd do it either. It's just like, I know the game. I'm like, I'm good. On multiple levels, I'm good. But yeah, there are times, dude, that I think like the content creator stuff helps. Battlefield 6 is a great example of it. So it's not always bad. I think there's a little bit of both. Did you find out what engine they're using? No, I did not find out what engine they're using. I did tell them, though, and we'll talk about this in tomorrow's video. I will spoil this part. I did ask them. They did not tell me. And I told them you should announce this engine. And my reasoning is exactly what we're all doing right now, which is we're speculating about it. That's fine. We could be left to wonder for a little bit, but more importantly, I told them it's going to leak. I literally named names. I was like, Jez Corden, Jason Schreier, Tom Warren. These three are digging for this same answer. They're clearly well connected. There's clearly people in the building who don't care about what your plans are and are going to tell these guys, and it's going to leak. So you may as well just say it and say why. There's no fixing the relation or the image of a Creation Engine 3. There's no fixing the image of an Unreal Engine. They're both controversial game engines. So unless this tells a little bit more than they're comfortable admitting right now about the Xbox business, like if we do Creation Engine, it kind of tells us like, oh, all Fallout projects are Creation Engine led. Okay, this is something that's obviously important to Asha Sharma because they don't have to pay money to people like Epic for using Unreal Engine. But I told him, like, you should just tell people. Like, if you're really serious about communication, like, you got to tell people that stuff. So, no, I did not get that answer, but the non-answer I got leads into a conversation. InXile remakes of Fallout 1 and 2 when? I wouldn't put them on remakes. I'd put them on something new. I think Clockwork and Wasteland 3 speak for themselves. Like, I don't think InXile needs to be a remake team. Nor do I think Brian Fargo and his team want to do remakes. Do they want to do something new, though? Fuck yeah. Let them do something new. That'd be sick. Sergio asked, do you think they're scared of the backlash of announcing the engine? It's tough to say, man, because right now we're also thinking Unreal Engine 5, and is there some type of partnership with 6 that we don't know about that's kind of formulating? I'm not sure on that stuff. Do I think they're scared of backlashes? Again, I'm like, that's what I was trying to say. Like, there's backlash for either part of the engine. People have, like, you have 2 engines that people have already made up their minds about. 5 is a disaster. Creation has not proven to be exciting. At least with Creation Engine 3, you know, like, at least with something like that, you could argue, okay, well, they're iterating on 2, which had a lot of problems. It was basically Creation Engine 1.5. So maybe 3 turns out to truly be Creation Engine 2, which has some improvements. We'll see. At least you could do the we'll see part with that. With Unreal Engine 5, you kind of can't. It's like, okay, let's hope. I mean, I had no problem running the Outer Worlds 2 on Xbox Series X. I played it on my Xbox Ally X as well. But I remember people had a bad time with that on PC. So the polish on both engines isn't great. Are they afraid of that? I don't know. Possibly. But I don't know if the backlash is that bad. You're telling me you wouldn't playtest something like Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6? No. I don't play early access games. Like, I genuinely don't. You know, like for me, it's like, I like the complete vision. Like that game we looked at earlier, Aether Cycle, I'm like, this looks great when it's done. I don't like getting on the train early. I don't know, man. I like arriving when the party starts. Sorry, that was really corny. Do you think Microsoft will expand the Fallout universe into different game genres? Would you be open to that? What genre would interest you? Yeah, absolutely open to that. I mean, Todd said they got like any and all spin-off ideas. They were talking about that a little bit in Jez Corden's interview. As for genres I'd like to see, for me, I think step 1 is something like strategy RPG. I would throw in the mix as well. Like isometric turn-based RPG. Those 2, I think, like staying in the vein of RPGs. And then from there, maybe you could start to depart into like working with like Fallout Bakersfield and making that an official project and kind of this boomer shooter style Fallout game that also captures that art style really well. Like that shit's awesome. So I think there's a lot they could do with it. So I would totally be open for it. And I think it's going to be needed over time. If they're going to start, like, this is the beginning of like what you could consider the milking of Fallout. Eventually people will get tired of that in maybe a decade's time and you're going to need to do new things. Do you think we see a preview next year? Depends for what. Like, if you're talking Fallout remaster, you mean we'll have that next year? If you're talking Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6, I don't think we see that for a while. Drawn out's in the building. Hang on, the goat is here. My main thing is I want new Fallouts to look like 3 in New Vegas and not the colorful theme park stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I mentioned that in my remasters video that I really hope Fallout 3 and New Vegas remasters don't kind of adopt the whole... I think New Vegas can get away with a little bit more colorful skies and stuff because they do have a lot of like deep blue skies in vanilla New Vegas. But in Fallout 3, I really like the murky brown. I like the grossness of both games. And the thing with Unreal Engine led Fallouts is like people are going to think I'm running huge defense on Creation Engine when I say this. I'm not. But like there's something that the jank helps Fallout because it does look a little dirty and grimier. Where something like a polished, cleaned up Unreal Engine Fallout is a little tough at times to imagine. So I agree with that. Yeah, I don't want super colors. I don't want theme park stuff. Unless it's like a Nuka World Park, sure, then let the colors fly there. But otherwise, I want it all destroyed. RPG Shactics, good to see you. I pray they work on the optimization, man. Oblivion Remaster still has frame chops, and the game barely runs for me, and this is with the 5090, and that's just sad. Well, stay tuned. Let Matty cook. Please and thank you. Dave Wonder, might be dumb, but if games never exceeded 100 gigabytes, would we still have had the announcement of physical games ending? I'm sure it plays a little bit of a factor, but it really does come down just to dollars and cents, you know? Like, it really does come down to, they make money on physical games. They just don't make as much money. Get it out of the way. That's basically what it was. You know, there are certain games that exceeded that size, like a Call of Duty, like the application where you could have all these things installed into it. You know, all these big games socketed to this fucking behemoth of a file size. But otherwise, like, I think it's just the money. Unfortunately, it really is the simplest answer, and it's the most true one. Sergio's asked, what would you prefer, an Unreal Fallout game or Creation Engine? Creation Engine. Hot take, but yeah, I'd prefer Creation. Because I think, again, a lot of people feel like there was when people knew people still know very little bit about game development, but there was a point in time where people knew so little about game development that people blame the Creation Engine in Fallout 4 for why Fallout 4 had little role playing. Things like the Far Harbor DLC really show that Bethesda can do role playing. They just choose not to, and it's very frustrating. Games like Starfield have their moments of choice, but because the game is too big, they just can't have meaningful reactivity. It's like within a vacuum. I would personally like Creation Engine, though, because of mods. You know, unless they figure out something for Unreal Engine, like the modability is so important to these games. The customization is so important to these games that I would prefer Unreal Engine. And I think if you basically hand Obsidian Creation Engine and say, like, content build with this thing, and they just know to do, you know, we see the scroll box in something like Starfield, so it's not going to be limited to, like, the 4-button prompts in Fallout 4. So it's like, okay, we can still support, like, good dialogue options here and build, like, a full-on role-playing game with this stuff. Like, I think that would be pretty awesome. That said, yeah, Outer Worlds 2 is a good argument as to why Unreal Engine's totally fine. But I just think of modability and customization and, like, part of the reason we were able to appreciate New Vegas for so long is because of those mods. And we know what it's like to go on a Fallout drought, and I don't want to lose the ability for people to make things and to experience them over years. Do you think Obsidian's Fallout story and location will focus on continuing New Vegas? Or will it be a new location? If so, where would you like to see it? I talk about this in my investigation video at the end. It's like a 30-plus minute video, so I don't blame you for not seeing it. I don't think they'll continue with New Vegas. I think they'll leave it as is. Fallout TV show is already basically covering that. I think it will be a new location. Where would I like to see? New Orleans, San Francisco, and then I got to say, Fat Vanguard sold us on Texas. I really like Texas. Those are my big three. Machine XP writes, I blame people like Luke Stevens for pushing silly Bethesda slander. Well, Luke's entitled to his opinion, of course. I think what's important is, so I've noticed a lot of people, I'm not saying I'm an expert on Creation Engine. There's a lot I don't know about it, but I spoke to some modders recently who do work in Creation Engine often because they're making creations for Starfield, for Fallout 4, for Skyrim. And they have a lot of insight on things that I think go underutilized in the conversation. So I was talking to one of the, arguably the biggest name in creations. It was like, hey, do you want to like get together for like an interview style video, if you will, and like really start to iron out like what Creation Engine 2 does right and wrong, what Bethesda could do to make Creation Engine 3 great, that sort of stuff. And he was down. So that's the goal for me in the coming weeks here, is to kind of produce a video that sort of leans into sort of informing people from not Bethesda's point of view. Like Bethesda can tell us all they want about Creation Engine. People won't ever believe that. But when it comes to modders, where we have a lot more faith in them, we have a lot more trust in them. They're more like, they're us at the end of the day. I thought that'd be more useful information. So I'm working on that. So we'll have that out whenever I sit down with this modder, whenever is good for them. But that'll be something we probably get out within the next week or so. So please look out for that. I think Luke's a reflection of many gamers right now who are upset with where BGS is nowadays. They can be the best, but we haven't seen that in like 10 years. And yeah, that's why I said Luke's totally entitled to his opinion. I don't disagree with a lot of what Luke says. I was bringing up more so the point of like, I think there is a lot of lack of engine knowledge from the community in general on creation stuff, because of I think Bethesda at times isn't just the best developer. And so how much truth is there in all of that? I want to like unpack all of that. So I want to ask someone who's actually worked in the engine instead of asking Bethesda themselves, who would always say like, hey, our engineers work so hard. We have a great tech stack. It's like, how about someone who just makes their living off of supporting this engine? What is that like? Okay. And he said they ported energy weapons from Fallout 3, so it was hard to ADS, but Josh says he wishes he had time to remake the weapons. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Fallout New Vegas had a really great mod for ADSing with the energy weapons. I loved how they looked. I would love for them to copy that, straight up. Nerf Ninja, thank you for your support. Hype! I love it. Did you hear about Jennifer English dropping out of Tides of Annihilation? Yes, I hope she's doing okay. I saw her message online, and so it seems like it was burnout. I mean, she's been in everything since Baldur's Gate 3, and she's been working so hard, so I totally get it. I think it's fair, and certainly I hope she's gotten her bag from all the like highly critically acclaimed, well-selling titles she's been a part of, where she can take this time off to recover. And I love that she's still a part of things and overseeing it and kind of taking care of the project in a way that expresses it wasn't like a bad breakup. Like, I think that's really good. So, kudos to her for doing the right thing for herself, but also by the game, I think. Hey, bro, love the page, love the Bethesda stuff too. Your GTA takes are wild. Well, give me time. Give me time. GTA 3 is on the back burner now, much to the dismay of Uncharted Wolf, who I will continue to taunt with my opinions on GTA. But don't worry, Vice City's up next, and boy, will that be fun. Talking about the Highwayman, I think Starfield lends itself more to flyable / customizable vertibirds in Fallout 5. Not sure if that's good, though. Thoughts? That's a really interesting touchstone. I had not considered that. Why not both? Eh? Eh? No? Why not both? Just saying. Now, this would really crack open the map. You could fly from one end to the other. But if, like, the vertibird's an endgame reward, why not both? That said, the whole customizable thing, enough of this. We don't need to customize everything. Just give me a vertibird. Step one. Do you think the Fallout 3 / New Vegas remasters would launch at the same time and be bundled together, like 2 games plus DLC in one case/disc? That would be fucking awesome. Do I think they're doing that? No. Why is that? You're not gonna like the answer, man. Money. It's free money to like. Fallout 3 is gonna do well, really well. New Vegas, though. So help me God if that does not sell like 20 million copies. So why wouldn't you, if you're Bethesda, okay, let's take ourselves into the building at Xbox, right? You've got these 2 projects on the way. What you're suggesting is the end result. We're going to sell Fallout 3 Remaster. We're going to take in all of that money. We're going to sell the New Vegas Remaster. We're going to take in all that money. And then, only then, when it's time 2 years after the fact, will we do a bundle offer. And it will probably be by that point a digital bundle offer that puts the two together. Now, the whole 2 games, 1 case / disc with DLC on disc, brother, nothing would make me happier. But do I think they would actually do this with the physical side of things? I hope so. Digitally, though, I think they'll get there. Them basically making Tale of Two Wastelands would be fucking cool, too. As someone who played the Outer Worlds 1 and thought it was only okay, what are things you saw in Outer Worlds 2 that have to be in Fallout 3 and the New Vegas remasters? Okay. Reactivity, gunplay. It's really those two. The reactivity and the gunplay were so great. Faction quests. I mean, these are the things. That's why I said, like, taking the things that are New Vegas-esque and bringing them forward is totally fine. But specifically the loot count, I thought the loot count in the Outer Worlds 2, like, one thing that really benefited that game was the amount of, like, science weapons, missables, quest rewards. It made everything feel very purposeful. Like, I had a thing I could hold that I got from a quest line I did. I was like, fuck yeah, like, I did that and I got this thing. That was really awesome. Outer Worlds 2 is loaded with that shit. And that's what, like, really made me connect with Bethesda Game Studios games. The way that conversations are remembered in Outer Worlds 2 is really great. Like, when you talk to different characters, it's not like you make skill checks always. Sometimes you'll just have a conversation, you'll explore all of those options with them, and then you'll remember that. And then when you talk to someone else, that dialogue prompt is now unlocked, and that dialogue system expands, and it's just very, very organic. And it really rewards, like, whatever order you go in, you could find new things. So it's just such an impressive video game from that angle, too. So those kinds of things, like the expandability of the dialogue system and the loot, would go a super long way. It's a lot of things that you've seen in New Vegas, but the way in which they deliver this content to you in Outer Worlds is done really well, I think. Just don't carry over the companions. They're fine, but they could have been way better. Nintendo digital prices don't drop. So used physical prices stay high. Physical won't change that for Sony if they raise prices. It's a losing battle. Yeah, I want to talk about this pretty extensively in a little bit here. We'll get into the Matty slop in a little because we've been chatting Fallout for about an hour and a half now. But Nintendo digital prices not dropping and physical staying high is like part of the problem. But Nintendo also benefits from a particular artificial scarcity and value that, like, they'll sell like 30 million copies of Pokemon and still sell it to you for like $50 on a discount. And you'll view that as a good deal because it's the best you'll get. They've just created a culture more than anything. People like PlayStation still eventually do like a half off, which Nintendo eventually does too. It just feels like it takes a little bit longer to get there. The Omega Initiative did a video a few years back on a Fallout Hawaii concept. Very captivating. Chinese remnants. Sea warfare mechanics from Elder Scrolls 6. That would be fucking cool, too. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why Fallout can stay in the States for a while. Like, we've got all these different parts of the universe that can be explored in new and interesting ways because so much of what derives the interest from Fallout is, like, taking culture and reimagining it, right? That's why so many people love the New Orleans setting idea. So, yeah, dude. Fallout Hawaii would be sick. My wife loves Hawaii. I'd love to go there someday. What features / gameplay mechanics do you think FOTOR will have? Also, what's your pie in the sky hopes for the game? Pie in the sky hopes is just like strong replayability, strong reactivity, just real great build crafting. That's another thing back to this question here. Really good build crafting in the Outer Worlds too. I would like to see that carry over as well. I think it's better than what New Vegas offers in some ways. Anyway, features and gameplay mechanics and FOTOR. I know I'm so Fallout brained here. I know this is a question about FOTOR, but I was like, this reminds me of something of Fallout. Okay. Anyway, Pie in the Sky hopes for FOTOR is just like delivering on the greatness that is KOTOR. That is like the best I can ask for because that's my favorite game of all time. Like delivering on a story that's emotional, delivering on the choice and consequence, delivering on the concept of light side, dark side, doing it intelligently, amazing companions, strong personalities that aren't pretentious and annoying, incredible voice cast, just the works, baby. Features and gameplay mechanics I think they'll have. I think it'll be an action RPG. As in like think Jedi Survivor. Maybe a little bit of like Dragon Age Inquisition where you can like call in your companions to like help with certain abilities. I think it'll be a little bit like that. It would be really cool if it was more like Xenoblade, where it's just like straight up an homage to old KOTOR but evolved, which is what I think Xenoblade isn't intentionally, like homage to KOTOR, but it does have that similar combat makeup while still having real-time elements that you control. I think they'll probably have like starship flying in a way that's not just like a fast travel point. That's basically what the Ebon Hawk is. So that'd be cool too. God, I'm feasting, man. I'm feasting. I don't think the New Vegas remaster is too far off. The 3 remaster is already far along, and New Vegas and 3 share a lot of assets. If 3 is late 27, I can see New Vegas in 28, and that's very possible. We could be looking at like 27, you get Fallout 3. 28, you get New Vegas, and then 29, if the original Project Michigan was flipped in some way and accelerates what we have going on for this new Obsidian Fallout game, maybe 2029, 2020, 2030 for this new Obsidian Fallout game. I think we'll get a lot of Fallout very soon, which is cool. I like that we're getting something new in Fallout next year. That's a good feeling. Am I high to think if Bethesda releases Elder Scrolls 6 5 years after Skyrim on basically the same engine, new story, location, etc., that we would have loved it? I think that's entirely fair to say. I think after Fallout 4, there was a kind of ramping of like impatience with how Bethesda games were trending. I do think, though, that if we got Fallout 4 and then we got Elder Scrolls 6, we'd be having a different conversation probably about like, how do we make these games more hardcore? But Bethesda going into live service and then going into a new IP that didn't really deliver did a lot of damage to their public reputation, man. It really did. It's a shame. It's a fucking butterfly effect among butterfly effects, truly. But I don't think you're high to think that. I think a lot of people forget how loved Bethesda was. And I always say this is my optimistic point of view, is that it's the same thing with like BioWare before Veilguard, which was like, I think people are ready to love these things. I think they want to love these things. I think about when, again, I thought this way because specifically I brought up BioWare because when we were going into Veilguard, we knew it as Dragon Age to Dreadwolf. And we were like, okay, like we're learning little things about it. BioWare's communicating more steadily. And then, here comes along the Mass Effect remaster. And when we all played the Legendary Edition, we all realized like, okay, this is like, I love BioWare stuff. I remember I love BioWare stuff. Like when it's good, it's fucking amazing, dude. Like I want more of this. I hope they do that. And like, I think Bethesda with some remasters can, as I told people, remind folks of the good days first. And hopefully then when you follow up with new shit, you deliver. That last part's always going to be the most important. But do I think there's a world where like they don't damage their reputation horribly if they just go on to make Elder Scrolls 6 instead of 76? Yes. Absolutely. Hey, Maddie, that modern interview sounds really interesting. Love more of that kind of content from you. Thank you. Also, has there been any more news on Divinity? Not that I've seen. I haven't looked heavily, though. I've been like very much in the Bethesda Xbox world for... What day is today? Basically a fucking like month and a half now, dude. Like it's been nothing else. And PlayStation. But like I've not checked in on Divinity much. So I haven't seen anything. But also it seems like Larian went pretty quiet after the whole Gen AI thing. You have to admit, Sandler's filmography is more vast than expected. It is. I didn't realize there were that many fucking movies, dude. That guy never has to work a day in his life. It's impressive that he's still doing movies because he just kind of wants to. Tanner Francis, thank you for your super chat. Hey, Maddie, no questions from me, but I did want to say I've been a fan for over a decade, and I'm happy to share the hype of these announcements with you in the stream. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, guys, for just hanging out, for being, positive at the end of the day. Like, I'm not asking for toxic positivity, like, but I guess positive might even be the wrong word. Thanks for the great conversation. Like, it's just really cool to hang, chat about Fallout again. It's cool to not feel alone on being excited about something. There's been so much stuff in the past years I've been excited about that kind of just blow up in your face a bit. Like, oh, I'm so excited for like what Veilguard could be, and it's like, oh, fuck. Like, it's a complete controversy. And I'm just really enjoying this pocket now where we're just dreaming a little. We're talking a little bit. We're having some fun. We're being realistic about things. But, dude, like, the conversation here has been awesome. So just like, again, thanks for being part of this. Sincerely, really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And I know for the rest of the community who wants to take part in the conversation. Carl Crow says, Avalon and Sawyer have been doing interviews with smaller YouTubers. Are you interested in talking to them? Seems they are waiting for an invite. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I have interviewed Sawyer, though. Technically, I've interviewed Avalon as well. He was on Hamrio Podcast. Dragon Age Origins Remaster would hit so hard. One of my favorite games growing up, and would love to see it get some attention. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the tough parts about Dara saying that, you know, in my interview with him that we were going to get a Dragon Age Origins Remaster and that was getting pitched. It's like, fuck, bro. Yeah, I would love it too. Matty, can Power World win Game of the Year? I guess it could if enough people vote for it. Technically it could, yeah. Will it? I doubt it. But can it? Sure. How's Oblivion Remaster on Xbox? I've been putting it off because of later game performance I've been hearing about. Yeah, I'd wait. I would wait, my friend. It just gets progressively worse and crashes more and more. Ooh, pardon me. I'm just getting some Matty Slop stuff up right now so that we can kind of jump into some of our stories here. Bro, I remember the setup video when you hit 2K subs. Yeah, long time ago, man. Shit. That is a great video too. Just me showing off my whatever bedroom. It's got whoopsies, I accidentally hit the volume button on this IGN article. But yeah, that's a throwback. Remember that? Like, that was your reward for your audience subscribing. Like, here's my setup video. So funny. Oh, I forgot to get the link for this one YouTuber. We're going to start off with the KOTOR remake stuff, guys, because I'm itching to talk about that. Okay. All right, I think we got everything we need for this story. We do. Started watching this year, I think. Well, Ruben, thank you for joining. No love for a Fallout 4 Project Arroyo remake or Skywind? Of course. I mean, I love these ambitious mod projects. We've covered them aggressively. I think one of the reasons I slow down on my coverage of them is just like, you know, they never fucking, like, these kind of power projects, these dream projects, like, they take forever or never come out. You know, like, it's really hard to get on board until things start to... I'm not talking about these specifically, but I'm just saying generally speaking, like, they're tough to see materialize. And they get a ton of hype. I mean, I'll talk about, again, things like Fallout Bakersfield I talked about really extensively on the channel. Looks awesome. But yeah, I would say with Ouroboros Snake, or sorry, I'm totally reading your fucking name while I was like switching tabs. So I was, with the other remakes here, though, I mean, they look great. Like Skywind I covered a little bit. Just like they need to finish. They need to be done. All right, let me pause the music here. Who's ready for some slop? Oh my god, my fucking stream crashed. Just chat just crashed. Bleh, I can't talk right now. I'm about to do a video. Okay. All of you, Maddie. I didn't have enough characters. Oh, you're good, bro. I didn't think it was like a call out or a mean thing. I was just trying to be clear that, like, if you're wondering why I don't cover them as often, it's just like it's hard to sign on sometimes and be like, okay, this looks excellent. Like, I hope it turns into something. But I appreciate you clarifying. All right, everyone, feel free to spam your meat emojis in the chat. We'll still talk Fallout. We'll still talk Bethesda, but we're just going to do some Maddie Slop stuff in the meanwhile because I got some news I want to get into today, y'all. So feel free to spam those meat emojis as Mr. What did you guys call me now? MrMattyPlays gets to work here. So I think my first slop with the glasses on. All right, here we go. Let's do this thing. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your favorite form of slop. It's glasses on slop. How about that? People on the Mr. Matty channel loving the spectacles. We'll keep it going over here on the slop. Now, with all of that said, ladies and gentlemen, there is something I love more than slop, and that's KOTOR. And today, we are actually talking about a true, bona fide Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic release date rumor? Are you kidding me? So much time I have spent talking about stories like this. Look at this quote. This is what I would make full videos about. It is still in development. That's all I can say. I'm like, video. We got to talk about it. This is our first update in 5 years. Let's talk about it. That is the world I have been living in. So imagine my response when I saw a Saber Interactive executive mention that KOTOR remake might be coming out in 2028. Now, whoa. When this was first announced, did I think I was signing up for that type of release date? No. But we're already far enough along. And look, join the Maddie Good Luck train. Let's take a look. We've got Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic in December. I got my Fallout roadmap. Why can't we get KOTOR remake now? Just a re-reveal of some kind. Well, if rumors are to be believed, we're also going to get into that. First, I'd like to dive into these comments here from Saber Interactive, man, because there's something. All right, there's something. So, IGN has the coverage on their article here. A new Saber Interactive exec moves to reassure fans worried about Warhammer 40k Space Marine 3 monetization, ends up suggesting a 2028 launch window that may include the KOTOR remake. Again, like, what? No way. So, let's read the full quote. And then we'll zero in on sort of what IGN did as their part of their reporting. Here's what Steve Allison said. My job isn't to squeeze money from Saber's products through tactics like that. We are preparing to do more self-publishing, and I'm here to organize the group in preparation of the lineup forming for 2028. Like when I came to Telltale in 2010, that's also a no microtransactions company. That includes Space Marine, John Wick, hopefully KOTOR remake, and a few unannounced titles. As a company, Saber has never pursued microtransactions. It's not how we do our products. We sell the main game with a free DLC plan for the community and may do paid DLC, but that can't repeat the voice pack DLC issue on Space Marine 2. The team learned a lot on that and before I started here. I didn't work on Fortnite or Rocket League, but I did fund and oversee the launch of the Alan Wake remaster and Alan Wake 2 through the traditional third-party publishing team, which was part of my group, also no microtransactions. There's not a lot more for me to say other than to assure you that's not Saber's approach and how I'm personally oriented, leading, publishing, etc. Space Marine 3 is going to be all the things you love about 2, plus more that leans into the things you call out you love about it. Now, as someone who loves Space Marine 2, I thought Space Marine 1 was good, but Space Marine 2 was fucking superb. So just knowing that, I'm like, cool. Space Marine 3 sounds like it's going to be just more of the same, which is exactly what people want, and that game is going to do stupendous if so. Also, that story, some of the visuals in that story, my God. Anyway, the thing we're focusing on here is that he says that we are preparing to do more self-publishing, and I'm here to organize the group in preparation of that for a lineup forming in 2028. KOTOR remakes mentioned. So now we got two things to pull out here. Self-publishing, 2028 release window. Now, with this, the sourcing of this message was questionable. It seems like it was a private message sent potentially on LinkedIn, which was then shared on Reddit by a user. IGN then reached out to Saber, and they got confirmation. So they wrote here, I asked Saber about Allison's comment, and as you'd expect, downplayed the significance. Steve was responding to a player primarily asking about plans for microtransactions in future titles, and he was speaking broadly, not officially about the future slate of Saber games, which he's incredibly excited about, a Saber spokesperson said. We have not announced any release date or confirmed launch windows for Saber's upcoming titles. Please stay tuned for more information on all of our games like Turok Origins and Hellraiser Revival, which is launching October 8th. And Hellraiser does look really good. But first KOTOR remake we got in a while. IGN confirms the comment, so it is real. And now we're learning two things again. 2028 window, how do I feel about that? Self-publishing, how do I feel about that? What do these things mean here? Well, let's start off with the release year. It does read like it says, hopefully it'll be in 2028. It's very easy to look at that and go, okay, 2029 then if we're lucky? Oh man, that sucks. It could be that. We're not getting any additional comment, clearly. But also, as we'll talk about in a little bit here, there was a video by YouTuber 100 Star Wars here. Let me reorient this. Oh God, I'm breaking the format here. Hang on. Let's show his channel. Here we go. So y'all can subscribe to him. Great channel. 100 Star Wars made a video called The KOTOR Remake Confirmed to Release in 2028. Now, with all of that said, he suggested something that I did not consider, which was that the hopefully 2028 was mentioned in light of Saber's desire to self-publish. So it could be hopefully re-release in 2028, or we are moving into self-publishing with these titles, and hopefully come 2028, when we're planning to do KOTOR Remake, that game will be part of that as well. Because originally Sony was set to publish the game, and appears that they're no longer involved, with them kind of erasing their marketing on the game. They were not happy with it. Aspire got booted off the project. Here comes Saber Interactive. They gobble it up, and they started development on this game in 2023. So will they self-publish KOTOR Remake at Saber Interactive? That's a question worth asking, and I think that might be what is said here in this quote here from Saber. At the same time, I guess there's one thing we can take relief in with this quote for sure. No microtransactions in the KOTOR remake. And we need any win imaginable right now. For me, with this remake, it starts with the building blocks, right? Like the things that made KOTOR pure, like it being a purely single-player game. No shops. No, well, if you pre-order, you get the unique Revan skin that's shiny and gold. Like, fuck off. I don't want that. Ever. Other things like time savers. Well, if you want to play KOTOR remake, as it stands, we will not stop you. It'll be a 35-hour RPG, but you can buy these time savers if you're a hardworking individual, and because we balanced the game against you, and it said this game will now take you 20 hours, like what Ubisoft did with things starting with Assassin's Creed Origins, that type of garbage. It seems like this game will be free of that, and there is a world where KOTOR Remake has a DLC roadmap. What the hell that looks like, I don't know. Do you add in new planets? Do you add on top of this at all? I'm being a purist with the whole thing. Deliver me my story as a prettier version of it, probably with new combat. All will be well. When you start adding in new things, get my back up a little bit, you know? So let's be careful with that. That said, no microtransactions, maybe self-publishing, 2028. Then 100% Star Wars, though, in this very video I just showed, and I'll have it linked down below, please check it out, had some scoops for us. Some Tostito scoops. What did he share in his video? Well, the year of Matty just may continue. Because, I'm looking at my notes here. He says the KOTOR remake best case scenario was originally a mid to late 2027 release date for the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. And originally, KOTOR Remake was intended to be part of this celebration. Now, it is instead expected to slip into 2028 instead for the 25th anniversary of Knights of the Old Republic. He says that development's been going extremely well, that it's ramping up and it's been going smoothly for the past 3 years, that they're hiring a lot of high-end talent, and that Saber Interactive in general is a unified front with this game, pulling resources and talent for it from all across the board. The biggest thing here is that he claims a reveal for later this year has been planned. And, I mean, we're not too far off from Gamescom. Could it be? Could it be that soon? if it's planning a 2028 release, it feels a little bit soon. Too soon, in fact. And he suggested as part of his speculation that Star Wars Celebration 2027 could also be a good spot, and that's what my pick has been for a while. Like, I think this year is pretty solidified for announced and marketed Star Wars games where, you know, if we're talking Game Awards, like this December we get a look at the KOTOR remake, I think that works because you already got Star Wars Galactic Racer. We already got Star Wars Zero Company. So these things are already handled, right? Now we can move on to the next Star Wars product. Here's KOTOR remake. But if we're talking 50th anniversary celebration, the return of the best Star Wars game of all time being re-revealed as part of that celebration and beginning the marketing for it in 2027 for its 2028 release date, that makes more sense to me. Re-revealing it kind of in late 2026 and then releasing it in 2028, I don't think that accomplishes much. 100% Star Wars also claims that 2028 was always the target to be hit with the highest likelihood. It's been in development since 2023, so this would actually put it on track for a 5-year dev cycle. Now, I've not spoken to 100% Star Wars about this, so I'm just speaking from what I've heard here, that there is what could be read as a mild, or heard, I guess, through his video, as a mild contradiction on the idea of, like, its best case scenario was mid to late 2027, but now it's, like, slipping. But then also development's going well. So something delayed it, potentially. Wouldn't surprise me with the way this thing's fucking gone. But that's also worth considering. Now, this is, like, again, the biggest KOTOR remake news we've got in a while. Most people have just kind of tuned out, which I don't blame you all. For those of you who have just like, I don't give a shit. I don't blame you, right? Because it's like, hit me up with something like truly, like, I see a trailer. And then hit me up when I have gameplay. And then hit me up again when the game actually releases. Like, I get we're at that point with this one, which is why I think they're going to be more careful with when they release it. Do I expect a reveal this year? No, unless it's December. But do I expect, like, I'm thinking of the big shows coming up. PlayStation likes to do a big showcase in September sometimes. We have things like Nintendo Direct, which would be a crazy place to see it, but Kingdom Hearts 4 got its latest update in Nintendo Direct, so sure, why not? Gamescom feels a little too soon. But as a kind of preparation for Star Wars Celebration, sort of a maybe cinematic re-reveal trailer in December, followed by a new trailer for like gameplay in Star Wars Celebration, I can see something kind of working out that way. All in all, though, 2028, it's a long ways away. But in the meantime, we're going to see more, Fate of the Old Republic. We're going to see a little bit more, of things like, Fallout. So for me and my taste, there's a lot to hold me over. But this KOTOR remake, man, I just hope it delivers after all this time. Because a big question I get is sort of like, again, what would you take out of this remake? Like, what are you looking for? And as I mentioned earlier, I'm looking for just give me my story. Please don't change it at all. If you want to flesh out a couple new side quests, I guess I'd be open to that. Drive more build crafting. Drive more combat that's engaging. I think people's biggest critique with KOTOR and why they struggle to go back to it is the combat. Keep that beautiful music. I think like having an option between the original and the old stuff would be, or the new stuff, sorry, would be great. But otherwise, man, I don't know. I'm really happy that they're just at least keeping up with it. And I hope what 100% Star Wars says is true, that development's going well, that they're like a unified front, that they're really believing in this project, that they know what it means for them. And that's what I've said is like this, if you're a business, this is money for you, right? Because it's not just like if you nail a Star Wars game, you make a lot of money. It's like if you nail this Star Wars game, there's a sequel. And if you nail that Star Wars game, there's the third game, which no one has ever been able to make. And that would be the most special part of it all. Which, again, we learned through Stephen Totillo of GameFile that the plan was to do a KOTOR 2 remake after this. So stars are aligning a bit, and the beauty of a KOTOR 2 remake is the same thing we talked about with like Fallout 3 to Fallout New Vegas remaster. Assets are shared heavily here. KOTOR 2 remake hypothetically should not take as long as the first one took to get around. First one should never have taken this fucking long. I don't know what the hell Aspire was doing, and I don't know what the hell Saber's doing to take this long, but I definitely imagine like there's a like type of combat changes. I like to think a Final Fantasy VII remake. I think that would be a really interesting combat touchstone for the KOTOR remake combat system, that or Xenoblade. Those two would make me the happiest. I feel like because they want to go a little bit more mainstream, I doubt they make something like a, you know, D&D style gameplay system. Time will tell, though. But nonetheless, I really am just happy to finally start hearing things about the game. And hey, if we get a reveal this year earlier than I'm predicting, you'll see me jumping for joy on one of my channels. No doubt about that. Chad, I want to hear from you. I just let me know how, am I alone on the KOTOR stuff? Like, I always feel like I'm on an island with my excitement for this, because I think it just looks like it could be so great if everything goes according to what my brain is saying, which is just like, oh, they'll just touch the combat. They'll keep the story the same, though. The music will still slap. It'll be your favorite game ever, but in all the ways that people have dreamt it of being. You know, people don't like that combat. I don't agree with them. But they'll get what they want. Or maybe having multiple modes for combat. That would also be cool. Let me get this off to Emmett in the meanwhile. We'll chat some more here. This slop is top of the crop. All right, let me empty this out. Let's give me that gameplay reveal. I agree, dude. God almighty. I just want to see how it looks. Like, how does Bastila look? How does Jolie look? How does Karth look? How do they play? Can I switch between them? Is it like a third-person shooter and like a third-person action game? Like, what does it play like, damn it? I need to know. Thank you, God's Juggernaut. I appreciate you. Hit me up when it releases. I don't give a shit about the trailers. They will only make things worse at this point. What do you think? They're not going to market it? Oh, because you said before there, reveals and trailers do not mean anything if they come from Xbox. I certainly get that after everything that's transpired this last month. How some people have come to that conclusion. Slightly intrigued, not gonna lie. I like Ruben's hesitant, like, I'm kind of into it. Okay, let's see here. Where is Emmett? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I was just updating Emmett on the episode details for Matty Slop. I feel like we found a good cadence with Matty Slop. Like, you know, there's just some weeks like it's tougher to manage than others, but we've kind of kept things nice where like we're able to really post whenever and just like start spamming the channel and then like, okay, I'm going to be gone for these weeks. So like we'll slow it down and we'll pick it back up. It's been nice. Your glasses are a vibe. This could be near your look, brother. The funny part is I don't need these all the time. Like, I don't need them right now. They're good for, like, when I'm, like, reading like I am now. Like, I'll probably wear them on stream more. But, like, when I'm on camera, I don't need them as often. I don't need them really in general. They just help reduce strain. Rest in peace, Genshin look. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, that Genshin cut was not... what did Cog say? My wife loves me. She sure does love me. I can't see without my glasses. Yeah, I'm like Velma out here. But then again, John, I realize now you're talking about yourself. My brain just went straight to Scooby-Doo reading your fucking chat. Like, I can't see without my glasses. My glasses, you know. Just I was like, oh, Scooby-Doo reference? Like, this guy knows ball. No, he's just talking about himself. Why is this Tweaktown article not working? What's going on? Okay, let's try it like this. Okay, let's see if my keyword search works here. For some reason, Tweaktown's article isn't coming up on players buying more expensive versions of games. Oh, their website's just broken, I guess. Okay, sure. Fuck. Well, that's never happened before. All the other websites are loading. What the hell? Am I gonna watch the new Avatar movie this weekend? Yeah, I should. I should. Will I though? Maybe. I've just been so busy with our game that even like sitting down for a movie. I watched The Odyssey. That was fucking awesome. That was really, really fucking awesome. I'm gonna see Spider-Man later this month, so we'll see if I want to sit down and watch Avatar. I definitely am excited about the Avatar movie, but the way they've done it with like no theatrical release, suddenly dropping it, the whole fucking thing leaked like what, a few months ago or whatever. Like it's just they've just, it's an exercise on how to get someone to not care. Do I prefer playing RPGs like console, Mass Effect and Fallout on console or PC? Mass Effect console, Fallout PC. Fallout has mods, so I like it on PC. But I played. I mean, I just did a New Vegas platinum run on console. That was fun. I did not watch an IMAX 70 millimeter. I did not see it in that. But I'm also such a casual at movies. I'm like, I don't really. It's fine. Yeah. Not the end of the world for me. Fucking amazing movie though. I loved it. I really did. Oh, there we go. Tweaktown's article just decided to load suddenly. Cool. All right, everything's up and running here, I think. All right, cool. Yeah, we got everything. Yeah, I agree. I would have loved to see the Avatar movie in theater as well. Like it's summertime, man. Like summer movies, like blockbusters. Like what the fuck did you put Avatar in theaters for God's sakes? I mean, it's too late now. What are your thoughts on AC Black Flag Resynced? I chose to skip out on it, and it just seemed like more of a standard remake of a game I already played, which is fine. Clearly, you just saw me wax poetic about a game that I just got a remake of a game I already played, I would be okay with that, and that's KOTOR. With Assassin's Creed, though, because I'm trying to bang out some of my backlog stuff, I'm working on a review now. I was just like, I don't need to play a open world Ubisoft game, which is going to hold me down for like 50 hours. Not really looking for that right now. So I chose to skip out on it. I skipped out on my review in turn. I'm listening to the Odyssey soundtrack before I see it this weekend. Ooh, you should wait. You should see the movie with it and then like go after. I mean, I don't want to tell you how to do it. I'm just saying like the soundtrack I think adds so much to it. It would suck if you already like heard these things. Movie has like really great sound too. There's one part in a cave that's like whoa, especially in like IMAX where it's like fucking theaters like or Dolby Cinema where the theater's like rattling, fucking crazy. Mass Effect has a decent modding community too, not gonna lie. I've admittedly not looked into Mass Effect mods too much. Uncharted Wolf asks, do you ever finish GTA 3? Yes. Yes, I did. And I'm a little bit more dead on the inside for it. We will see you in November. Actually, hold on. I put my schedule together with Josh a little bit for later in the year because we were talking and it just kind of led into that. So we basically have a whole month of like Rockstar games planned. It's gonna be awesome. GTA 3 would start November 3rd, and it's all Rockstar until November 20th. We're basically doing what we did with what's the game called? Resident Evil. The expanded galaxy mod for Mass Effect 3. I'll have to look into it. I've not really looked into modding at all for Mass Effect. I've been very happy with the vanilla product, so anything more would be great. Should have played the definitive edition. Yeah, you're right. That would have just fixed everything. In a lot of ways, it actually would have. I'm going to be fair to the game. I will bring that up in my videos about the older GTA games. Saint Guillotine, thank you for your super chat. Matty, been a long-time fan. I met you once at E3 near the Fallout 76 announcement. Out of curiosity, have you heard of the Dungeon Crawler Carl book? I've not heard of it. I'm glad we got to meet, though, dude. That's awesome. I miss E3. I really do. God, such great times. Carl book. Oh, okay, hang on. I think I typed this in wrong. Oh, no, I haven't seen these. Interesting. These are pretty obscure. Based on the amount of reviews it has versus things I've read recently. Dungeon Crawler Carl. Matt Dinneman. You know what's worse than breaking up with your girlfriend? Being stuck with her prize-winning show cat. You know what makes matters worse than that? An alien invasion, the destruction of all man-made structures on Earth, and the systematic exploitation of all the survivors for a sadistic intergalactic game show. That's what. Join Coast Guard vet Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, as they try to survive the end of the world, or just get to the next level in a video game-like trap-filled fantasy dungeon. A dungeon that's actually the set of a reality TV show with countless viewers across the galaxy, exploding goblins, magical potions, deadly drug dealing llamas. This isn't your ordinary game show. Welcome, Crawler. Welcome to the dungeon. Survival is optional. Keeping the viewers entertained is not. Interesting. This sounds kind of cool. Pretty cool suggestion, dude. Product details. 480 pages. Wow, it's a pretty decent read too. It's a lit RPG, so it reads like you're playing a video game. Haven't read it myself, but it sounds cool. Interesting. It's a bestseller right now. Yeah, I kind of slowed down on the Witcher books. I need to finish those, but this is definitely one that I might add to the pile. Cool book. That's a cool suggestion, man. Thank you. I would not have heard of this if not for your write-in, so thank you, Saint Guillotine. On the eve of the winter solstice this week, exchange books. And oh, that's sweet. Okay. Where's Maddie? Who is this Clark Kent dude here? So funny. Xbox's new VP of engineering left? Really? Well, let's see what's happening here. Man, what the fuck? Let's catch up here. New Xbox VP helping CEO with our most complex product and engineering problems is already leaving 3 months later. Had joined Xbox from Microsoft's Core AI division. Xbox VP of Engineering Gerald Palmer is leaving to join AI lab Cognition. You might be wondering, who is that? Good question. Palmer joined Xbox to help advise Asha Sharma directly on improving the platform's developer tools and infrastructure. His name is part of a leadership team during a management shakeup in May. So why is he leaving 3 months later? Personal update. I've joined Cognition to lead engineering. Grateful to Asha Sharma and everyone at Xbox for an amazing year. Excited for this next chapter with Scott Wu and team. Palmer, who only joined Microsoft's Core AI team last October, didn't elaborate further on the reasons for the change. Palmer was one of several people named in the memo to staff from Sharma back in May that laid out a series of personnel changes and promotions. She praised him as a product leader who understands modern development, including where tools can remove friction and help teams move faster. She continued, he spent his career building developer tools that remove friction, increase productivity. That's exactly the mindset we want, using technology to support creators. While a member of the engineering team, Palmer would directly report to Sharma, working directly with me on our most complex product and engineering problems with a focus on developer tooling, taste, and infrastructure. Maybe those problems have already been fixed. More likely received an offer he couldn't refuse from Cognition, the startup which received $21 million in backing. Yeah. Yeah, seems pretty self-explanatory here. Palmer Burners like me. Yes, you too. Please stay at Xbox, Palmer's Burner. We need you. All right. Who's ready for some physical game slop? I'm back at it again, being annoying again. Casper J, thank you for your super chat. Maddie, thanks for all the great content. Thank you for being here. After all the news with Bethesda, I decided to play Skyrim for the first time ever. Wow. I'm excited to see how it all goes. Dude. Damn. That's fucking... Oh, man. Just enjoy, dude. It's such an incredible video game even to this day. Like, you'll totally get why people just fire it up. It might even register after you beat it. Like, you might beat it and be like, that was pretty great. But then, like, as you walk away from it and you come back, it just feels like new again. It's just such a perfect video game. Enjoy, dude. Thanks for supporting the channel. Okay. Time for some physical game slop, shall we? Let's do this. Feel free to spam the meat emojis. Get the party started. Here we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I fear I'm being annoying again. It's time to talk physical games once more. Have we lost the war? Is it truly over? There's some pretty bleak data being shared around the industry. And it sounds like physical gamers have been handed a big old defeat. Well, it's been 3 weeks. No comment from PlayStation. Feels like the decision's basically locked in. And we'll get an idea of what this decision and its repercussions have come the next generation. We'll learn, and then the rest of the people who are trying to undersell all of this will then react and be like, oh my God, it actually is a problem. That said, with these numbers, it's reignited the conversation. No one actually cares. No one's actually buying physical games, and this proves it. Is that true? I'm here to be that annoying stick in the mud and tell you, no, nothing changed, especially if you paid attention to the reason people were fighting this. These numbers should change absolutely, literally nothing. But nonetheless, people will act like it will. Let's talk about it. I want to begin this conversation, and it's going to be a chunky one. I want to begin this conversation with Push Square. They highlight here, the sales data paints a very grim picture for physical PS5 games in the USA and the UK. Keep those regions in mind. Very, very important here. Christopher Dring mentioned 1,000 sales would have got you number 9 in the UK physical charts last week. Okay. And last week it says Pokemon Legends ZA was in that position while the Star Fox remake was 10th. So it's like, okay, that's a brand new video game, that last one in number 10. Okay. The story that's really making the rounds here is from Matt Piscatella, who works at Circana, who provides a lot of insight and additional data here on where exactly the games industry is at. He says that 2 PlayStation video games sold more than 10K physical units in the United States during the week ending July 11th, 2026. That's not a lot. 7 have sold more than 100,000 physical units year to date. Oh boy. I mean, gee, that looks really fucking bad. I think if I'm seeing this and I'm looking, whoa, physical games are only barely selling over 100,000 copies this year, and we've had games like Crimson Desert blow up, Resident Evil Requiem blow up. We've got our sports games slop. Like, yeah, dude, it might be over. Well, let me show you some more information. Now, for the slop viewers here, I don't have this information on hand. Give me 1 sec. Where is the Alinea Analytics post? I didn't have it in my notes, so hang on. Alinea Analytics had physical games data that I want to share with you all here. Okay. I've got it here. Emmett will just edit all of this out. Okay. There we go. Okay. Got it up. This physical data comes from Alinea Analytics, right? They show the top PlayStation games by copies sold, and these are the physical copies here, right? And you can see the split. You see, we see Football Club 26, 5.1 million units, 12% of that physical. Resident Evil Requiem, over a quarter of their sales physical. So 3.5 million, over a quarter of that is going physical, which is pretty close to I'm sorry, which is not close to 100,000 is what I'm getting at here. 007 First Light, 21% of 2 million. Pretty decent there. Crimson Desert, basically 20% of 1.9 million. Also pretty good. Now, the reason I like Alinea Analytics stats is because, I'm sorry, I left out one here. That's being blocked off by my border here. That's Ghost of Yote, which 35.4% of this first-party PlayStation game and its 1.2 million sales are physical. Okay, not too bad here. Let me bust out the calculator here. I'm gonna do some quick math here, okay? Let's do 5.1 million here. Actually, I was going to do this on the side. We'll have Emmett edit it out, but we'll just do this here. Okay. So, here we go. Math, not my strong suit. Let's do 5.1 million times 0.12. 600,000 units sold. That's your 100K plus threshold for that. Okay, Matty. It's a sports game. Okay, Requiem. What do we got here? 3.5 million times, we'll just say 0.27 here. Oh my God, it's almost 1 million copies sold. Oh my God, physical gaming is dead. That's your 100K plus. Okay, let's go down to 007 First Light here. How bad does it get? 2 million copies sold times 0.21. Wait, am I doing the right one here? Yes, times 0.21. Okay, 420,000. So, what have we learned here? Absolutely nothing. We have learned the same thing we already knew, that digital leads the charge. We already knew this, but when you see, oh, it's only 100K plus, what kind of fucking floor is that, bro? You got games that are just about to cross 1 million physical copies sold and you're peddling this bullshit? I'm totally for Matt Piscatello, but that's horseshit, bro. Get the fuck out of here with that, man. That's insane. Now, to make matters worse, for people like me who like physical games, people have used this as a rah-rah type of thing, ignoring the entire point of the cause. The entire point of this was not about physical games sell about as much as digital or whatever people have contrived up in their head on what's happening here. It's always been about owning your content. That's all it's been about. It's been about that and having multiple storefront options so that you're not driven into one single digital storefront by PlayStation where you will pay hand over fist maximum dollar for your game. It's about, if we're going digital, I want to own that digital product. I want to be able to trade it. I want to be able to gift it. I want to be able to sell it. I want to be able to do what I do right now with physical stuff with my digital stuff. I want that level of ownership. Otherwise, this does not sound great to me. All this is about, and what people are trying to use these types of stats to beat physical gamers over the head with, all is about, it gets me fired the fuck up, dude, because I'm like, I can't believe we're bending over backwards for corporations. It's all about money. They make money when they sell physical games. People are like, they lose money on it. They lose at a vast amount compared to what they would make on a digital storefront, but they still make money. And the simple solution here has always been the compromise of charging more for physical, because it's already a boutique thing. But it's just not even an off-ramp at this point. You know, when Dr. Serkan Toto did his analysis of how physical versus digital is broken up here, again, money is still made on physical copies sold. It's just not as much as the digital storefront. So what people are like rah-rahing for is literally licking the ass of PlayStation. And I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm not this like anti-corpo bro. I want to love PlayStation because I love PlayStation games. But it's just like at a certain point, like, God, dude, people are intentionally misinterpreting it over and over. And then people see these stats and they go, oh, loud minority. It's like plenty of people who are digital only are fighting for this because they know it means less ownership and worse prices and less storefronts. And that is not good for anybody. At a certain point, I'll have to draw the line on how many times I feel like saying that. But again, we learned nothing with this data. And Matt Piscatello's floor that he provided goes upwards of 1 million copies sold in one case. And in the case of that game, Resident Evil Requiem, that game was selling out, dude. It was out of stock physically. So we're obviously seeing less printing, and that's fine. It can be this kind of boutique thing, the hardcore thing, the evangelist thing. Just because it's not the, we'll say, 90%, 80% of way people consume games, doesn't mean it shouldn't exist at all, because it eventually, the cascading effects hit you digital bros. And it's going to hit you hard. And we're trying to warn you. But it seems like we're at the point where folding is a thing. Okay. To make matters worse, we got GameStop, who's just done us no favors in the physical space when they were scamming us in our childhood, or at least my childhood. Here's GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen talking about physical games. He says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Software, it mattered in the past. Software makes up less than 12% of the business, and collectibles make up over half the business. So it's totally irrelevant. GameStop is a business that was on the brink of bankruptcy, and everybody was betting against it for good reason. Now the company's making more money than it's ever made in its history. So yeah, it's just like, even like one of our last bastions of potential hope, just fucking hanging us out to dry here. Mr. Half Cash, Half Stock, going after eBay. Best of luck, bro. But thank you for nothing, GameStop. You always did stab me in the back, even in my dying moments like this. One thing that's not included here. Nintendo Switch physical sales. That's the thing, bro. This skewed data from Matt Piscatella, I don't think he's like nefarious with it. Or at least I am naive enough to say he is not. But the way that other outlets have peddled it, when there is so much additional information, when like I first saw it, my stomach dropped. I was like, fuck, man. But I took 5 minutes to put together these links, dude. 5 fucking minutes. And I found so many contradicting bits of information. I'm like, oh, interesting. So in Japan, here's the Famitsu sales. Here is Rhythm Heaven Groove in Japan for the Nintendo Switch, selling 500,000 plus units in 2 weeks. It's dead, bro. It's so fucking dead. I can't believe it. It's so fucking dead. Here's Tamagotchi Life since its launch, doing over 1 million copies sold. Who am I talking to right now? I'm doing this for myself at this point, for my own sanity. This is me writing in my diary. That's all I'm doing at this point. Just, dear diary, how did the games industry fuck me today? Here we are. Like, that's exactly the type of shit I'm on right now, because I feel like there's so many people who get it, and then there's a ton of people who intentionally don't get it, and then we use this data to completely skew the conversation. When this data started to pop up about what Matt Piscatella shared, they're like, well, games have always been glorified digital codes anyway. They're just licensed keys. No, they haven't. Go to doesitplay.org. Go check out their website. See how many games actually ship with all the content on disc. You will be stunned, because it's clear as day people aren't looking into that. Now, my compromise in all of this has always been, look, man, I'm willing to bend the knee, all right? Hold on. I'm bending the knee, okay? PlayStation. Bring this closer to me. PlayStation, all you've got to do is give me a disc drive that's optional and give me $10, $15 more per physical copy. And I am yours. It's all you got to do. I'm telling you, bro. Okay, that is your solution. Why could this work? Well, we have this research here done by Tweaktown, bro. And here they have pre-order charts that are showing people are willing to pay more for the Ultimate Edition of GTA, which is $100. The top pre-orders are Premium, Digital Deluxe, over and over. The top 3, look at that. Look at that. Canada, same thing. Germany, kind of same thing. You got the regular GTA 6. You get the point here. Look at this. People are buying the most expensive versions of games, and that is fine. I am not a pocket watcher. I want y'all to enjoy games how you want to enjoy games. But if we are showing a willingness to spend more on the things we're excited about, because most people aren't buying every game, they plan their purchases. They're like, I'm going to go for that one there. Charge more for physical, dude. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Come on now. What are we doing here? Again, I think there are obvious solutions that serve as off-ramps, that turn it into this boutique thing that's optional, that's not needed, have your cake and eat it too, but that doesn't long-term benefit these businesses. And by fighting for them, you're fighting against yourself and your rights. Okay. With all this in mind and me popping off and jumping around like a legit idiot here, I want to get into one last topic here. I'll probably make a video on this individually at some point as we get... I just feel like still the situation's so unclear where... there might be a little emotion in the air right now. But I want to talk about this at some point, is the stance. Like, a lot of people are like, hey, it looks like they're not budging. What do you do moving forward? A lot of people ask me that all the time. Like, I want to support in what would be considered the right way. Well, first off, I think doing the right thing is what's right by you. I'm not here to tell you how to consume games. That's never been part of this physical game movement. It's not been in like, and I'm thinking like Homelander, all of you buying digital only, like I'll joke about it, but like at the end of the day, it's like, dude, I totally get why digital people do their thing. Like that's fine. It's not about convincing people to adopt my purchasing habits. They work for me for specific reasons. They don't have to work for you. I've been thinking about what stance to take on this because, for example, we got this story here. Marvel's Wolverine will include a physical disc. Now, whether all the content is on the disc or not is a different story, but it is getting a physical release. It will include a disc, and it is probably one of the last big PS5 exclusives that we're going to see that includes that disc, and it's like, that's important. So there's a few ways that you look at things. I have my notes over here because I really spent a long time like writing out this kind of light script, if you will, because I wanted to make sure I was very particular about what I said, because I saw Mystic put out a video about this, and he's in the same boat that myself and a lot of other physical guys are, is that we went hard on this topic. We went hard every week, just talking about it over and over, like, fuck PlayStation, this shit's stupid, there are definitely compromises, you're cutting out the hardcore fan, this is not good, etc., etc. And now, because of data like this, it's become the, we got you. And now we're looking for the next gotcha. Were you going to skip Wolverine, baby? Let's talk about it then. So my stance has been that digital games can exist, but the preservation and protection around them just needs to accelerate as fast as the business practices. If PlayStation wants to go in this direction, they need to accelerate the things like gifting. They need to accelerate the things like actually keeping digital accounts secure. Look at what happened to that guy with his Microsoft account recently. 25 years of data, gone. Just got it back. Same thing happened with Colin and PlayStation. These things just gone. And as this is all, it's dystopian watching this all happen while we're pushing in the digital future, because again, it all comes down to money. It's not about what's good for you. There's not great support lines that are helping out in this, in what is becoming a maddening situation for people with accounts that are losing content. It feels like it's too soon. I do get Xbox One flashbacks with this. I do feel like we're still maybe a generation away from where it would always end up being. And it feels like we're ripping off a Band-Aid again. Like the wound hasn't healed yet. But I need things like an updated refund process, like being able to trade, own my things. Then I'd be more open to your digital future, because then it functions a lot like my physical future. And while I still love the nostalgia of like, hey, here's Deus Ex Human Revolution, and oh, remember when it came with this sleeve? Like, you know, hey, what's on the inside? Oh, look, manual Square Enix member slip. Like, yeah, of course this stuff resonates with me specifically. Like, there's a lot of nostalgia in it. But even like main news outlets like CNBC have covered this well, just saying like it's about ownership. So what can you do in the meantime is, I think, own all you can before there's nothing left to own. So I look at things like Wolverine. It's like, buy that on disc, because that they're already starting to lower the amount of print for these things. PlayStation's moving their factories away from it. So things like Wolverine are hopefully going to be preserved on disc, because that's what Spider-Man 2 did on PS5. So I think buying things physically could send a message to PlayStation. I think if you want to cancel PS Plus, that was one way I went about it. I'm like, this is something quantifiable that they can look at. They can't really see if I do or don't buy a game unless like millions of others do the same thing. So I think it's better just to go to PS Plus, where you can really hit them where it hurts, and they see like, oh, our recurrent revenue, which this is profitable, has dropped. I think doing something like that can be effective, but support physical until you can. That's kind of what I'm doing with this, but while being strategic about it. I wrote here that I want to build up my library with what I can, with what can still be considered mine. So investing in things physically, like if Wolverine is all on disc, I would like to have that in my collection, because that's the shit I care about. If Marvel Tokon is not all on disc, then what's the point, right? Probably going to get that on Steam then. And the list goes on here. But while I'm doing all of that, I do think it's important to emphasize that purchasing in certain places can help here. I'm trying to be more strategic about when I buy physical. If there's a game that's fully multi-plat and it's coming out on Switch 2 and the Switch 2 port looks solid, and I see the physical copy of the game and I don't see that little game key card banner at the bottom, I'm going to get it on my Switch 2, because that is a physical copy of the game and I want that in my collection. I value that more. In a lot of ways, I do value it a little bit more than fidelity and frame rate. And that's my personal decision. I wouldn't push that on others. If it's digital only, I want to go to a place where like a GOG where I can own that, or Steam where you can own that. The rock and a hard place for people like me who are going hard, are very upset about this, obviously, is that you can't let the hobby die with physical, but it means so much to it at the same time. You know, I'm an indie game developer, dude. Like, digital is why teams like us get to exist, and we don't have to worry about the whole manufacturing operation until it's popular. But that brings me to one of my key points in all of this to kind of round things out, is that double dipping is such a popular thing in our industry. It's kind of not talked about a lot. There are companies like Sega with Atlas and their double dipping where they've built a whole business strategy about it. But like, I think of Signalis, right? I played Signalis on my Xbox. It came out on Game Pass. I bought it on Xbox. I love Signalis, right? Then they did a physical run for that game. And I bought it again. So I think the physical run for that was like $40, I want to say. So it started off as a $20 little purchase, turned into me spending now $60 on the same game twice. Because now I get to hold it and own it. This does not apply to everyone, but it eventually can, right? Because if, say, PlayStation were to support an optional disc drive and they were to say, we're going to do a run of discs for Wolverine now that the game's been out for a few months. Think of it like the reverse of like theater run, then going to streaming services. It's like digital first, and then we'll do physical based on the demand that we have. That way you can measure it up a bit, do what Nintendo does, create that artificial scarcity, kind of like what they did with the Mario 3D collection, where they're like, we're not printing this anymore because we kind of just fuck it, feel like it, and then we're going to sell you Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 again. Ridiculous. I know they did some improvements, but again, just ridiculous. I'm trying to speak business to the business. I'm not saying I want any of this just bending over and banging the consumer constantly, but like, is there really no money at all to be found anywhere in all of this? Or are you just thinking like, let's cut them out and we'll make up the difference with the digital storefront, easy as pie? And that is extremely frustrating. It's also the truth, but like, in that, like their truth. But I just think you can still support physically, buy particular PlayStation games, try to send a message, and at least own what you can still own before they pull the plug on you. Because it's the same thing with the Vita. When the Vita support ended, I gathered it all up. And so that's why I have a huge Vita collection of games that I care about, that I can pull off the shelf whenever I want. And why that was particularly great in that instance was actually because the PS Vita for me was like really useful when my power went out for multiple days. Like that's why that shit matters, little things like that. And again, I spoke about other countries, but like the thing that's missing in all this is like, we're talking like United States, like a very consumer heavy country, right? And there's a lot of us here in the States. What gets missed in a lot of this are other countries that are, the internet's not ready for digital only. It's just not ready. And they're cutting out those people too. So it's definitely a by the margins play. And it's frustrating. My crash out indicative of that. But it's greedy, bro. It just, I know we always say greed for everything, but it really does come back to greed. And this is why I say with Xbox, it's like, look, yeah, we look at the margins. We look at the numbers. We know these things are not driving a ton of revenue compared to digital. But they drive some. And in the case of a Resident Evil, 1 million copies sold on PlayStation. Again, that's just PlayStation estimates. That's not even looking at like how did Resident Evil do with Requiem on Xbox. All this data is so skewed. And that's the thing that's harmed physical games the most. And companies like Xbox and Nintendo can step up and do something right by consumers until digital is truly ready for an all digital future. And not even to try to be the heroes of the industry, but just because I think people would put their money where their mouth is, as they clearly do with physical. The people who have been arguing for physical games, I don't think are fraudulent. I don't think you or anyone watching this, I don't think they're lying about how this is concerning to them when they say that. I just don't believe that. It doesn't mean they have to show up and buy every game physically, especially when SKU data suggests that your 100K can go up to almost a fucking million, dude. That's a terrible metric. And a terrible way to present that data. And it's terrible on the way the websites frame it afterwards. So let me cook, man. I can save the industry. Chat, that was a lot. That hit me pretty hard as I just went on and on more and more. But fuck, man. I care about physical games. You can say a lot about me. But one thing that's for certain, Matty loves his physical games. And I think that was my first stream crash out, for sure. Monopoly Station is crazy. It's disingenuous. Still one of the worst things Nintendo did. Save the games industry. I'm trying my best here. I'm fighting. Bro, how many times have any of us bought Skyrim? That's true. Yeah, we buy Skyrim a lot. Yeah. Your opinion on physical grade and the fidelity is so valid. I kind of feel like limited game files could help development in a lot of cases. You could argue that for sure. It definitely could benefit some with the way things just bloat over and over and the lack of focus on optimization. But yeah. That's just my personal 2 cents on it. Let me get this over to Emmett in the meantime. All right. Why did Circana post the wrong numbers? They didn't. What they said seems to be true. Everything like 100K plus. But then you look at the estimates that Linear Analytics gave us, and I'm like, bro. Like, I didn't even finish the math, and I was like, this is fucking preposterous. Like, we can do some more math here. Like, look. Here, let me bring up OBS. Sorry. Okay. Let's finish 1.2 million times 0.35. So, 420,000 copies of Yote sold physically. Like, compared to the 1.2 million? Bro. Crimson Desert. 1.9 times 0.19. 361K. Like, it's not an overwhelming majority. It's never been. But, like, we're talking 20 to 25 percentile. And even in the ball and gun gamer category, like, because there's so many people there, like, that physical split is slimming. But, like, it's still, almost a million, what is it? Almost a million people? Like, it's ridiculous. This is a very disingenuous take from Matty. He's comparing a game's all-time sales figures to Matt Piscatella's 6-month sales figures. No, it's not, dude. 2026 top PlayStation games. The year is 2026, if I checked. And then Matt Piscatella's data is literally, when we go to, hold on, let me go to Blue Sky here. What the fuck is it? Where is it? Oh, well, it's in the tweet. 7 have sold more than 100K units year to date. So, both are 2026 stats. I missed the super chat. I apologize. Hey, just joined, but I had to bail anyway. Well, thank you, Claw, for being here. Everyone's joking that Microsoft had a gun at Bethesda's back, but how much did they actually force? I think Bethesda's buffet was likely already planned. They're just forced to talk about it now. I think there's a level of truth to this. Like, I think I think both are true. I think both are true. Like, I think my read of it is, like, I think Bethesda was planning to, because we already heard, like, last year Fallout 5 got greenlit and whatnot. You know, but at the same time, you know, like I'm sure Asha was like, we need to accelerate this, and like, you guys need to talk to your fans. So I think it was both, and then that kind of got forced on them a bit. Another problem is that of those 7 games, 007, Crimson Desert, and COD are not actually full on disc. Yeah, I mean, right now it's just about the sales numbers, but I get it. Yeah, like, they're not even true physical, which I think does say something. Then, you know, it does say something. About people just kind of like still wanting to go out and get physical stuff, even if they're not really caring about it being truly physical. So, okay, chat, help me out here with Newport here. I'm gonna address this Newport, because it's possible if I'm like dead wrong here, we'll just eliminate the crash out, because you're so adamant about this. I need to check myself here. You're saying he's comparing all-time sales with 6-month sales. But the all-time games, we ignored Arc Raiders. We're looking at games that came out in 2026. We looked at Requiem. We looked at First Light. We looked at Crimson Desert. I ignored Ghost of Yotei. I only punched the numbers for the games that came out this year. So what am I doing? If they came out this year and then Piscatella's stats are year to date, that is the year to today, the date he recorded the stats, then that means that Piscatella is saying 100K plus for the year, which would include games like these estimates from Alien Analytics, Requiem, 007, Crimson Desert. Am I off the mark here? I need to know. This is like driving me insane. Am I off the mark here? I'm not even trying to, by the way, we're not trying to gang up on him. I'm genuinely approaching this from like a standpoint of like, did I misread it? Because I've done that before and had to delete videos and be like, oh, my bad. Like I fucked up. That was stupid of me. But if I'm like actually like not wrong, then what are we fucking arguing about? It's right there. Yes, year to date means this year only. Okay. Hasn't Crimson Desert sold way, sounds like you're right to me. Okay. Hasn't Crimson Desert sold way more than that? This is for PlayStation only. So yes, it's sold more on other, combined, yes. Like on Steam and on Xbox and everything, yes. This is just PlayStation copies sold. Hey, look, if Drawn Out saying I'm right, man. Might be time to admit you're wrong. All right. Got one more bit of slop for you guys here. This is a one-pager is what I like to call it. We got one article. I didn't really do much prep for this one, not to sound lazy. I just kind of like... I got so absorbed in my script for the other stuff that I was like, I'll just talk about this headline. We'll see where the video goes. That's simple. Ask ChatGPT to get sources. ChatGPT, I will say, I do respect how easy it is to quickly accumulate where something comes from. But I remember so I experiment, like, because I'm, as someone who's like pretty anti-AI in the sense of like what it can do to art. Like, I don't really think it's bad for people to use it as kind of like a way of like finding information or consolidating stuff. Like, there are genuine great use cases for things like ChatGPT, but I like to experiment with different things. So I tried, for example, when I was doing, so we've experimented with shorts that have never been released. And I tried to do research on what the origin of Frutiger Arrow was for video games, because a lot of people have always said that a lot of games in the early 2000s, like say Sonic Adventure, that's like an iconic example, had things like the beaches and the water and the trees because technology was progressing. It was kind of a time of hope with the technology. And so games could take advantage of like trees and water physics that they previously couldn't. So I'm like trying to use ChatGPT to find, like, has there ever been a time where someone has said that the reason they went with this tropical art style or their direction for their game was because of the technology that was being made at that time? I was trying to figure that out. And ChatGPT is like, yes, actually. And they point me to this whole Far Cry thing. And I go down the Far Cry rabbit hole and like, I can't find a quote of someone actually saying this. So I asked ChatGPT again. I'm like, is there a quote? Like, you told me someone said this. I cannot find it. Is there an actual quote or something that directly points to a tropical setting in an early 2000s game actually being led because of the technology? And they're like, actually, that's not true at all. Like, I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like, I'm like, of course. Like, I ask you one thing, man, the one thing you're good at, and you still fuck me over. Yeah, ChatGPT is literally a liar. Yeah, bro is the biggest fibber I've ever met. I was like, why are you lying, bro? What the fuck's good with you? I'm trying to trust you here. I'm trying to build a relationship. ChatGPT will give you the answer you want to hear. Yeah, that is definitely for sure. That is definitely for sure. ChatGPT wants you to feel nice and cozy. Okay. My favorite thing is when Sam Altman said ChatGPT will never have ads, but now it has ads. Yeah. And that the thing is failing if they go in that direction, right? That part too. Gemini is even worse. Pathological liar, that one. Yeah. I haven't tried Gemini. I try to use it these types of stuff sparingly because, again, it's a slippery slope where it's really easy to default to and be like, oh, this would just be easier to grab it this way. Cumulative stuff is, I think, fine for ChatGPT, like if you're collecting information. But when it gets creative, it's like, nope. Oh, I missed the super chat. Sorry about that. Poliscanio, thank you. If you had to step into a video game and live there for real, accepting every rule, risk, and reality of that world, which game are you choosing? I have the most boring answer, bro. It's Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon's like a cool-ass universe, so it's like really, it's like very close to ours, but it's all cute and warm, and like when things go right, they go really right. Let me see if I can think of a less boring one where I have to accept every, because it sounds like you want me to flirt with danger here. Mass Effect, you know, there's an intergalactic war happening, planets are getting attacked, humanity is on the edge of extinction, but man, really just aliens. Cool. Love it. I missed a bunch, actually. I'm sorry, guys. You must be younger 30s if this is from Bandit. If Can't See Without My Glasses is Velma from Scooby-Doo, not Macaulay Culkin and My Girl. Oh. I've never even seen that. But yeah, Velma from Scooby-Doo is the I Can't See Without My Glasses, for sure. A lot of Scooby-Doo on in the Matty household. We love Scooby-Doo. In your opinion, do you think inXile should be tasked with remastering or remaking Fallout 1 and 2 if remade Wasteland 3 approach or Baldur's Gate 3 approach? I don't think they should be. I don't think they need to remake or remaster anything. I think that team is really good, and they should be making new Fallout games, not old ones, remaking them. There is something poetic I always say about them remaking Fallout 1, but I don't think they should be a remake team. I think they're way more capable of doing like new shit. So I'm gonna stick with no. But if remade like Fallout 1 and 2, like yeah, I think a Wasteland 3 style for sure. Although Baldur's Gate 3 might be a little bit more fitting, a little more CRPG style with its combat, I think, or translates well into that. Oh no, we got a Colin Moriarty quote in the super chat. Carl Carrillo says, "This is an astonishing statistic. Me calling the physical user base on PS5 vanishingly small may actually be underselling it." Colin did send that to me, and I did, when I first saw it, go like, oh, I said to him, I was like, that really puts a wind, like takes the wind out of my sails. But after I started researching, I was like, huh, not that bad. Yeah. Thank you guys for the super chats and really supporting the stream here. I appreciate you. Let me hit up this last bit of Matty slop here, y'all. Final go around. Here we go. Feel free to spam your meat emojis as we go along. I say that, but also we have slow mode on always, so it's like, I don't really give you guys the opportunity to spam. It's just got to be everyone very calculated at once. You got to live debate him now. I take off the glasses. You're going to make my girlfriend leave, bro. All right, I'm sorry. Frenchie. Girl safe now. Look at that. He's been wearing them for so long. He's got the glasses. As you can see, that's how little I wear my glasses, because I'm like, whoa, I actually have like the ridge and like the marking on my nose and everything like that. All right. Let's do this thing. First game that got you interested in the tech aspect. I'm not really a big tech guy in the scheme of things. Many of you guys who watch my content know this. I will say this. So Persona 5 is what made me want to be a game developer, but from a technical standpoint, I look at things more from a design standpoint. So like, I really enjoy playing certain games I will not name right now because it would give things away, and breaking down the things that make that system work, specifically because when a system's really well designed, the player never thinks about and asks like why it works that way. It just does work, which is why Todd Howard says things like, it just works. Even though that's now a meme. But that's what, you know, so I'm not like a tech guy where I'm like doing my programmer's job by any means. Our programmer is amazing, but like, it was really Persona 5 that got me into like making games. All right, guys, let's do this. Thank you for your support on this. And let's end this with a banger here. Ladies and gentlemen, infighting at Xbox. Have you seen this one before? Yep, it's a rerun. Here we go. We're talking about Xbox Game Pass, which I've had really strong thoughts on for a while. Love what Game Pass did for our industry for quite some time here. But as time has pressed on, it's become clear that it cannot coexist with the way that Xbox is going. And that while we can have Game Pass in some capacity, like think of it such as PS Plus, where it's a library that's sort of like your companion to what you're already doing on Xbox, which is buying games. It cannot replace the purchasing of games. And it seems like as part of trying to change their narrative, some comments are starting to leak out that would suggest the following from this headline with Windows Central Gaming, which says that some Xbox studio leads reportedly detest Game Pass. It's quite the statement. We've gone through the whole phase here. We've learned that Game Pass, according to Jez Corden, is profitable enough where it was able to subsidize other failures across the Xbox portfolio. So the fans like it too. Xbox studio heads are like, dude, it's killing our games. And obviously we see that the bottom fell out with all of the layoffs and studio spinoffs that they've done. And of course with Arcane, as we record this now, it's still a coin toss on what happens with their team. Hopefully they do not get closed, but it could lead to a closure. But that the whole leaning on Game Pass formula did not work out, and that Xbox is moving in a direction where they want you to purchase their games. Now, this quote here came from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg when he was talking on his Triple Click podcast. This is the full quote as transcribed by Windows Central. They say, there are a lot of people out there in studio leadership within Xbox who absolutely detest Game Pass. They think it has destroyed the value of their games, think it has taken away the value from all those games in general, and has been a detriment to the games industry in those people's view because of how it devalues games. Now, again, I do find the timing of this all interesting. Like, I'm becoming a little bit more aware that Xbox is a lot like Ubisoft. Sometimes intentionally, other times not intentionally. What I mean by that is Ubisoft has leaks, but they clearly also deliberately leak things to feel out how people are going to react to stuff, right? So when Black Flag Resync starts to leak, and people are like, oh God, I hope it's not an RPG. They're like, okay, reaction should be good then because we're not making an RPG, right? Gauges things. So with Xbox, a lot of the word salad that's been coming out of them, you know, we look at like what they said about exclusivity last in June, and they were like, expect a consistent cadence. And then we get this new headline from Matt Booty's like, actually, it's not written in stone. I wouldn't hyper focus on single player games. Like, it's not really written in stone that those are going to be exclusives. I'm like, dude, holy shit, shut up. Okay. With all that said, though, sometimes these leaked comments are kind of setting the stage for some type of change. And like I mentioned in our Game Pass experiment has failed slot video, I do feel like by this time next year, we're going to be talking about a Game Pass without day one in it. I think Game Pass will still continue to exist. I just don't think Xbox will base their entire business around it. And seeing that studio leadership that's currently there feels that way suggests that those who are leaning on it or were supposed to be leaning on it, supposed to be feeling it, like the smaller teams that were supposed to get games out quicker, no longer being there means that the people who are still in charge there are like, yeah, we're not into Game Pass. So I'm sure there is a movement over time that will untangle them from this lifeline. Now, Jez continued his research beyond this, said, I was curious what my own sources felt on this topic. Speaking to a former Xbox studio lead, they were pretty upfront about that, echoing what Schreier reported. Quote, giving games away for free in Game Pass from day one sends a message to consumers that the games don't have inherent market value. It almost creates an assumption that these titles cannot sell on their own, end quote, one said. It felt like a race to zero. Pretty strong words there. I asked another former Xbox lead with intimate knowledge of the Game Pass strategy, so not a studio head previously, who explained that the idea around the whole platform was to offer core games a stable revenue stream as many core users increasingly opt out of free-to-play titles or wait for deep cuts and sales such as those found on Steam. They explained that Xbox has an engagement formula used to allocate profits from Xbox Game Pass back to studios. Although some studio figures I've spoken to feel that these accounting mechanisms aren't transparent, nor are they motivating for studios whose bonuses have traditionally been tied to direct sales rather than engagement metrics. So yeah, like we're going back to square one in a lot of ways, which is what I talked about, which is that things like monthly active users, I mean, it seems like there's still some value of that in Xbox because the metric that Asha Sharma said they are going to be measuring their ecosystem by is not dollar sales, but players. But how do you get people engaging with your ecosystem daily if you're maybe walking away from things like Game Pass in the way we traditionally know it? The plan is to sell these games and to get people to engage in a more meaningful ecosystem, and that they'll find more active users across the board who are staying on Xbox because they're buying things, their investment is there, and then developers are motivated to work on it because their bonuses are tied to games that are selling there and not some engagement metric, which the worry we had with Game Pass, it's so funny. This just unlocked a memory. When Game Pass started to pick up a bit with day one stuff, really around Outriders, right? That was like the first third-party day one game. There was first concern about quality, and then it became about Game Pass games. Game Pass game became a point of slander, really. Because certainly that would mean like, oh, it's a sloppy multiplayer game. It's going to come and go, but it'll get a good engagement. They got their money from the Game Pass bag and they'll move on, right? That's what Game Pass game meant. But to Xbox's credit, they fought it back with titles that they would get, even to this year. But I think about heavy hitters like Lies of P. I think of heavy hitters like Expedition 33. Like, to their credit, they did a great job battling back that narrative. But Game Pass game, there was a concern about the idea of like developing games strictly for Game Pass. And so when you have your bonuses of like the recurrent revenue for your studio tied to engagement, that incentivizes that style of development. And obviously there were many studios who marched against it to their detriment, but still it creates a bit of a conflict within the ecosystem and what games are, which are products that you sell. And you have to make something that is compelling that someone would want to buy. And that will inform a lot of your decisions creatively at the end of the day. That is the reality with it all. Despite Xbox Game Pass, it is true that the top 10 most played charts are generally dominated by the same handful of free-to-play titles or service titles that monetize primarily via bite-sized microtransactions. Xbox Game Pass was designed to encourage users who are perhaps less inclined to spend the full $70 on a full title to try something out of their previously typical free-to-play habits. And there was a time early in Game Pass's life where the instant audience Game Pass would grant helped games achieve free-to-play like virality. A good example of this actually was High on Life, the first one. That game did stupid well for Xbox and Game Pass and really injected some life into it. But what we learned with things like Starfield, when we saw the metrics come out for that, when we saw Xbox move into a multi-platform future, Starfield was the biggest day one Game Pass game ever by that point in Xbox's history. And they ended up only moving the content and revenue services plus everything else that released in that year. Like they had Forza and whatnot. But that only moved it by 1%. So Game Pass success was not translating into this massive amount of revenue that was increasing Xbox's profits as a company here. And I feel like Xbox, again, is going to end up moving away. If your studio heads don't like it, there seems to be a willingness to do exclusives again. With that willingness to do exclusives again, and you want people to buy those because now they're only on one ecosystem, you probably don't want day one Game Pass in the mix. I think there's two ways they go about it. One, you step away from day one Game Pass. Two, the kind of a la carte approach to Game Pass, which I'm going to give credit to Jez, actually, because I'm looking at the article now. He does write, I suspect, some sort of build your own thing. This is literally where I was going with it. But credit to him because he is the one who broke the report on that. I imagine what Xbox is going to do is probably let you kind of pick your own thing. And so some people will opt out of day one because it'll probably be significantly cheaper. At least that's my hope. That's my optimistic view on things here. But otherwise, Game Pass, I mean, we've seen the writing on the wall. I talked about it with the experiment falling out with things like Call of Duty and not finding any success on Game Pass to the point where they're now taking that out of the day one service. So the writing's on the wall there. When you got things like Matt Booty talking about exclusivity, exclusives do also mean Game Pass right now. So one applies to the other. I feel like if we're trying to not consider certain exclusives for multi-platform, while others will be considered for multi-platform, and single-player games might be ignoring that reality from time to time, then like, is that also going to be the case with Game Pass? This goes back to put this all under an umbrella, because I'm confusing myself talking about this shit. So let me try to put this under an umbrella. Basically, how I'm looking at it is that Xbox does not know. It's what I said before. When people come to me for my takes, and I'll give my takes as educated as they can be, but as we've seen, things change on a dime. We had our Xbox showcase. Here come the announcements. Senua, yeah, more combat for help. You're selling the studio. A month later, right? It's an unfucking believable whirlwind of events that I know takes more time in planning. But by the time we see things and we hear about things and other things unravel, it's a completely different scenario. And it looks like Xbox is just panicking and figuring things out. And it's just chaos is the right word. So I don't know what is going to be right. What's right at the moment here was them making a call last minute and going, we're going in on exclusives and we're actually going to push for more, but they weren't able to push for more with things like Halo. Okay, so they couldn't do that. But they suddenly did push for exclusivity, which, again, Matt Booty said a week before that showcase, they're like, no business updates. And the biggest thing about that show this summer was the business updates. Open with a console exclusive, close with a console exclusive, right? Fuck, man. Like, you know, so I don't look at that and see, like, this is a company that's got their plan completely organized. Layoffs aplenty. The most organized thing I saw was this. Layoffs aplenty. Let's use Bethesda as a shield for some good PR and get people off the topic. I stopped talking about Xbox layoffs. I was like, fuck Fallout. Whoa. So, yeah, guilty as charged. Like, it works. It can work with the right IP and the right formula and the right actually giving people what they want. But, dude, this shit gets confusing. They're saying one thing, doing another. Sometimes they're staying consistent. I don't know what's going to go on with Game Pass. Right now, it looks to be a service that they're kind of marching away from. Could end up being like, I'll see a headline from Matt Booty saying at Gamescom, actually, we're doubling down on Xbox Game Pass. We love it. Day one, it's here to stay. I can fucking see it, dude. So, pardon my vernacular. But yeah, dude. Game Pass is in this spot where at least right now we know its leaders detest it. However, there is one clip I do want to show you here. Let me find it, guys. I do not have it hyperlinked here. So the Min-Max interview with Mike Brown. Maybe I got to look up Min-Max. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the clip for you guys. Actually, I think Idle Sloth posted this. Hang on. Let me find it. This is an important quote. Okay, here we go. I found it. 2-minute clip. Let's let it roll. Okay. All right, we're good. All right, so this clip here is from a Min-Max interview, and it's a Mike Brown who's currently working on Clutch on his own team. But Mike Brown was the creative director for Forza Horizon 5. So he was at Playground Games for a while. He's familiar with the Game Pass ecosystem, and he also happens to be part of what is considered the most current successful Xbox IP next to something like Fallout. So let's take a listen to what he had to say about what was going on with Game Pass here.
I think my take on this Xbox thing is only my perspective on it from kind of peering over the fence like everybody else. I think it's really sad, and I think it's really, really unfortunate because they've honestly invested a fortune in the concept of Game Pass as a service, which led to loads of teams being acquired, loads of games being funded, loads of people getting jobs, all with a vision of getting regular games landing in this service for players.
That's something I didn't bring up that I'm glad he mentioned here. There's no overstating how much money Game Pass got circulating around the industry. Like full-on indie games like made their development costs back on Game Pass. They would be a multi-platform game, but they'd be day one on Game Pass, so they would sell their game over to Game Pass and then just profit from there. It was a really crazy way for a lot. Some indie teams are like profitable before they even shipped. Like there were some really cool stories about how great Game Pass was for indie teams. And if day one continues, it'll continue to be valuable. And I guess there is a level of like, they still have to buy these games to put them in the library. So if day one goes away, people will still they'll still get money to put their games into the Game Pass library, but it won't be as much. Day one obviously is a bit of a risk, so they got to make it worthwhile.
And I think the reality is not enough people have subscribed to it at the prices that they needed to pay in order to make that business viable. And that's actually just really sad, because we're now going to see studios getting shut down or spun off. Loads of people are going to lose their jobs. And that is honestly just a result of a well-meaning, player-focused concept of Xbox Game Pass not quite landing. And it's just a real shame. And as much as people will point fingers and call different people within Xbox the villain of the piece, the concept of Game Pass was good. It's a good idea. Like, let's have a subscription, make it affordable, try and get games to more people. We'll get a really diverse selection of games on there. We'll get a load of studios involved. We'll make some games that probably couldn't exist otherwise. And even if more people had subscribed, that makes enough money and it works, and all those studios go on and those games get made again and those teams will make other games. Unfortunately, that it didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number it needed to hit was, but it never reached the number that would make a $70 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard make financial sense. And
yeah, for sure.
It's really unfortunate. And now you have the I guess we don't know what the future is just yet, but I think it is a reshaping of a business around that after the first concept didn't quite land.
So there you have it. There's a guy who worked with it pretty closely, has positive things to say about it, but just says like, hey, it didn't work out. So granted, he hasn't been in the building at Xbox for a little bit now, but I do respect Mike Brown. Again, like, creative director of Forza Horizon 5 is a pretty great thing to have on your resume. So good insight there from a guy who's been there, done that. Thought that was some useful context. But all in all, just, again, taking a look at where we're at right now with Game Pass. Dicey situation. Sounds like the existing leads aren't happy with it. This was a Phil Spencer thing, and the main thing that you kind of take away from everything is Asha Sharma's running in the opposite direction of everything Phil did. So it looks like a lot of returning to the core of Xbox. How hardcore they do it and how consistently they do that will be everything, right? Like, again, 1 week we're all in on exclusives. Rumors are ramping up that they're putting more emphasis on exclusives, and then here's Matt Booty saying, I wouldn't quite say that. So truly time will tell with Xbox, and give them a week, we'll hear a different headline. Chat, how in are you when it comes to Game Pass? Are we feeling this service should hang around a little while longer in its current capacity? I'd love to get some different thoughts on this beyond my own. Let me get the final Matty Slop up to Sir Emmett. Would they make ES6 a console exclusive? I think if Xbox is serious about exclusives, I think they do. You know what I mean? If you want to move units and you're able to mass produce units that allow you to exclusively play Elder Scrolls 6 on Xbox platforms, let's say it's Series X and Helix, yeah, dude, like I think you make that an exclusive. It's the same logic we used back in 2021 when they were first bought. It's like, oh, I see the vision for Xbox here. And then they never did that. Same with Fallout. Would they actually do that? I don't know. But I definitely think there's a real possibility. Yeah, does Asha want quick cash or buy into the platform? It sounds like they understand that they need buy-in, that they have a very loyal, like 30 million people, but that otherwise, like, it's not growing. So, you got to maintain who's there, and how you maintain them, you give them rewards for being in the ecosystem, like exclusive games. Or at least console exclusives, right? Because Clock works on PC, for example. P3 would take quick cash. Yeah, Phil's reputation ain't great right now, dude. Especially in light of announcing all these Fallout things. It's like, whoa, Phil, we couldn't do that either? Shit, bro. Oh boy, it's thundering pretty loud right now. I don't know if you guys heard that. Just getting the music back up and running. I missed the super chat from Mythu. Trying to play Sekiro on PC almost bricked my PC, and ChatGPT almost made it worse, but I'm still recovering. Oh no. Sekiro almost bricked your PC. That's crazy. I played it on. What did I play it on? Did I play it on Steam or did I play it on PS4? I'm trying to remember. I think I played that on PS4. Yeah, I played it on Steam. Interesting, I almost bricked your PC. Phil thought he was a gamer when we needed a CEO. It's so interesting to see people be like pro corp. Not like literal pro corp, but like, yeah, like be a CEO. It's like, fuck, bro. This is really bad for the industry. Like, Asha could really flip the script on everyone real quick if she does a couple of shrewd business moves. All right. Well, guys, let me bounce. It's 7:21. I've got some work on the game I want to do right now because there's some design stuff that calls my name, and I need to have that done by Thursday so that I can meet with our art director to work on it. So let me bounce here. I'm going to get some dinner. I'm going to get to work on that. I'm going to stretch a little bit. I've been in my chair all day. But otherwise, thank you for being here. And I'll be back on Friday. We're streaming some news again. And otherwise, look out for tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's Bethesda video will be a very fun one. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, yeah, then we got Halo review. This is going to be a fun week. Cool Bethesda video tomorrow. Halo review on the 23rd. Yeah, we'll see you guys on Friday to talk about all of that and more. But thank you for being here. We appreciate you so much. I said we. I do. Jeez, I'm clearly fucking